Welcome to Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up. We're going on a little early with the new segment we're calling the pre-interview. And when we get very special guests, we have the pre-interview, so we get to know them a little bit better. And today we have Sue Costello, comedian extraordinaire.
Yay!
She's a filmmaker, a playwright, actress, activist. She does it all. She has a bunch of things happening, going on right now. She has a play. She has a podcast she's working on called Simmer Down.
That's it. I guess that is a podcast. It's visual, yeah.
So it's like a podcast video cast, kind of like what this is.
It was on Compound Media, so they do video. Yeah, same kind of thing.
Yeah. And then she also has her one-woman play, I Am Sue Costello Experience.
Yes.
Which I think everyone needs an I Am Sue Costello experience in their life at some point.
Well, the whole reason why it's called that, the am is small. So the idea of it is the big am is God, and the small am means that you're not God. And so when people see the play, they're like, you're telling my story. Even though it's not even the same story at all, they feel like I am. So then everybody's like from Spartacus, when everybody stood up and said, I am Spartacus.
Right.
That's the idea of why it's I Am Sue Costello.
So connecting people through your play.
Through my own personal story. It's so personal that it becomes universal. That's what happens with it, yeah.
So would you say working on a play like that and seeing the reactions and having that I Am Spartacus type of vibe, that we're all pretty much the same?
We're all the same. And the idea of so I've been growing my career since, 30 years I've been doing it. And it's amazing how as an artist, you really, if you just keep creating and you keep being tenacious, things can turn into. So I had this vision in my head, so the play turned into it. Instead of being like a traditional stand-up one-person show where you tell stories and then you do characters, and you talk to the audience, you break the fourth wall. Somehow it transformed along the way where I don't break the fourth wall. So it's a complete play with just me on the stage. It's as if there's other people on stage with me. You get all your information from my side of the conversation, but it's like reading a book in live action.
Oh, wow.
So people feel like there's other people on stage even though there isn't.
So there's a lot of pressure on you in doing that.
Yes, and it's been years.
Yeah.
Years of training it because I'm acting by myself. So yes, especially as a stand-up, I've been a stand-up forever. So not playing to the audience and keeping it private, being private in public, and that draws the audience in so much. When you can just like completely be in your body and not be aware of them at all, it draws them in instead of being manipulative, which is what I never wanted to be. But so the point of it is that I wrote the play in a way so women don't always get a lot of when you see the movies. It's always the women don't get a lot of. They're always the wife.
Right.
It's always about the men because historically men have been in the positions that people make movies about, or they steal the IP from women and make it their own anyway. So what I did was I wrote the script in a way that when it goes to Broadway, other actresses can come in and play me, and then I give them work with my material, and then it doesn't matter. They can be Australian. It doesn't matter. I want them to play my story and show that we're all the same.
That's pretty awesome, pretty unique. And also, it's a good time right now where there is a woman power movement.
A woman power movement.
And this whole
it's not a movement; it's happening. It's here.
It's here.
This is
it.
it.
So this whole the Me Too thing and all that stuff is going strong. And you were kind of way ahead of the curve on that. This is something you've been doing since your early stand-up days, right? You were always
I watched a couple of Costellos, my TV show that was on Fox in 1998, and the episode where Monkey Butt. It's about I try to go to college, and my mother tries to keep me from not going to college, and we find out later on it's because she was humiliated financially in college, and I'm like, I was talking about that. It goes beyond women,
right?
Because we're having the situation with the college situation now with it being too expensive and the student loans and people paying to have their kids go to school and get in places above people that don't have the finances, and not only that. I was showing what it was like for the women to surpass our moms and how hard it is for the mom to let the daughter surpass her because
she's so accustomed to the old way.
And she's had her own shame and she's been trained. So how do we continue? I was doing it on and then the other show, the dentist episode, was about I didn't have health insurance. So I had to go to Harvard Dental School to get my teeth fixed. And that's what's going on right now in the country. It's like, and they said I was ahead of my time back then and it frustrated me because I couldn't understand why people couldn't see what I was talking about.
Being ahead of your time could be frustrating sometimes. because you know you're trying to say something, you know it's important, and then you're being in a way ignored. Even though you did have a show, you have platforms, but these people aren't. It's not sinking in. That must have been frustrating 30 years ago, 20
I
years ago.
pitched a show after Costello to I remember my manager was on the phone. We were on a 3-way call, so my manager was on the phone, the people we were pitching to, and me. And I pitched a show about a spa where rich people went because they were pretending that they were going to like grow and become better people, and it was going to be like a hippie spa where you couldn't, organic and everything, and but they were ruining, the carbon footprint was ruining the world with their private jets. And they were like, and I remember the manager going,
Wow.
he's like, I told you she was a genius. Slow down, Sue. And I was like, I literally was like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? I didn't understand. I'm like, genius. I'm like, it's right there. This is what's happening. But they were in it. And that happens to me. Like, I was out with a guy, a radio guy, talking about doing a radio show at a big platform.
Right.
And he was an ad guy. And I was telling him, I was like, listen, the millennials don't care about buying, over history, you guys have sold to young kids and gotten them hooked so that they become loyal to your products forever,
right.
to your brand forever. And I'm like, the millennials don't care about that. I'm like, they care about experience now. They're not going to buy, and he's like, I don't agree with you.
Wow.
And I was like, and then of course, New York Times today, an article came out where the millennials are literally paying to not be advertised to.
Yeah, they don't because they have their own the whole hipster thing going on.
But I don't know why they just look at me
phones.
and they go, no. Whatever I say, they go, no, Sue. And I'm like, yes. I mean, even Trump. I was on Artie Lang's podcast, and they asked me. It was right when the rumblings were happening. They didn't even think that Trump was going to run.
Right,
and they were
right.
all laughing and joking. And then they came to me, and they said, Sue, what do you think? And I said, I think that Donald Trump could become president, at least fiscally.
Right.
Because
right.
I saw that the middle class would be attracted to the fact that he was a good businessman.
Right.
They
right.
screamed bloody murder at me that nobody could even hear what I had said. And I remember I went to to Stand Up New York, and Greg, the bartender, after Trump.
You could tell us what's happening before it happens.
Yes, and and who else does that? What's his name?
There's Nostradamus, there's The Simpsons, and then there's Susie Caduzi.
No,
Those are my three sources of.
What's his name? Not King of the Hill, the other one.
Family Guy?
Family Guy.
Family
Yeah,
Guy.
he
They
does
predicted.
the same thing too.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
he does the same thing too.
Very
he has
cool.
episodes about stuff that.
Very
and
cool.
I think as comics, we are, but we're prophets. Like we can see stuff.
Because you're in tune. You're so in tune with the culture and with human beings and human behavior that you could
Yes.
almost kind of see. All right, I think the middle class is going to go towards a Trump because of his business savvy, and they want to have better economics or whatever. They might think he could pull us out of this thing.
No, and I also saw it with Obama that people were getting frustrated. I remember he was talking. So I grew up. My dad's a labor mediator and Secretary Treasurer of the Carpenters Union. So I grew up around all of this.
Right.
And my dad would teach me. I was so fascinated with it. I'd call him. I remember UPS went on strike, and I'd call him every day. And I'm like, Dad, what's going to happen now? He's like, the workers have all the power right now. Because if they wait one more day, they're going to lose all their leverage. They waited one more day. UPS fired them and brought in the other people. And I was always fascinated with this leverage thing. And so I watched, and also I know I grew up in Boston. I am blue collar. I'm not Hollywood elite. And I hated all the Hollywood stuff anyways. I was like, when they would dress me up and like hang all over me, I'd be like, get off of me. I just wanted,
Right.
I kind of wanted to run wild with my art. I just wanted to be funny and make people laugh and just do my thing.
Right, right.
And so there was a bit of like boxing with all that stuff. And I'm like a untamed stallion. You cannot box me. And so, but I was watching Obama talk to the machinist, and he was being an elitist, and I watched it. I watched it boiling. I watched it boiling. I watched it boiling. And I know that a lot of the middle class people have had it with the bullshit, with the, being lied to in their lives and not getting a paycheck, and so they.
You could feel the temperature, and I think you have a unique way of feeling the temperature and understanding what's going to happen next.
And I did it even with so I went on a date with the guy from Harvard in my TV show, and the normal thing that Hollywood would have you do is have me go to the rich people's house, fish out of water.
Right,
That would be, and I was like, no, have him come to my bar. Let's have a date in my bar.
Right.
And my brother punches him in the face.
Right.
Because the provocation of what was going on between the class, and then my play, like people have compared my play to Shakespeare.
Wow.
And I'm like, Shakespeare? I'm like, what? I don't even know what anybody's talking about because I don't even have a full college education. I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about.
I just think it's the depth and the real. You're real and you're deep you're I would assume emotional and that all comes through in all kinds of art, whether it's comedy, drama, whatever. I think it all comes through, and that's the secret to being a great artist. That's the secret. That I know for a fact that Shakespeare was hilarious.
Well, and he also talked about class. No, he
talked about all of those things. Susie Caduzzi,
Yes.
I want to ask you a very serious question.
Okay, I'm ready.
Les Moonves.
Yes, Les Moonves.
So Les Moonves, the CBS president and guru over there, recently got in a lot of trouble, right?
Yeah.
But you have a connection, and you're kind of in the middle of this whole.
I'm in the middle of the biggest like Hollywood story, but nobody was paying again. Nobody's caught up with me yet. No, they are. They're catching up now.
Now it's starting to.
Yeah, they're starting to pick up on what was going on, and it's interesting about the culture of today, like what happens with social media and how people get attached to things and how they can't hear what's going on. You can't see the truth. So what I've done with my situation with CBS is I've held on to myself so that people will eventually see the truth, so that I could hold on to myself completely and let all the other stuff come up against me and fall off of me so that I could be.
Exactly. And you're going through a lot. You're in the middle of it. And I just want to explain to the people watching out there in gubsradio.com and also on Facebook Live. We got, they're all pouring in, watching us right now.
Yeah.
Explain to them from the beginning. You had a TV show idea. You went in with Les Moonves and just kind of.
Les had given me my first 2 TV deals back in 1998.
Right.
And I knew in the back of my head that he was not. He never did anything sexual with me, but I knew he used me as a pawn and everything. So there was something instinctually. I told you on the way here that I've been doing stand-up for 30 years, and I have dealt with male ego. I've also been trained by the greatest male comedic brain. So I'm like a lioness. Like I've literally been polished, like crushed into a diamond. Like I can.
Yeah, you went through like the 9 chambers of death in comedy, and you've been through it, been there, done that, seen it. So when a guy like Les Moonves gets involved, you just knew how to handle him.
Well, he also knew that I could make a lot of money for him because I remember, ironically enough, he called me at home in 1998 with 1997 with Bill Cosby, and they were like, "Who do you think you're a star?" I'm like, "I'm not coming in that room."
So Bill Cosby and Les Moonves both called you together?
Mm-hmm. I've been in the middle of all this. I was on the set with Rose McGowan and Southie. I've told. Now the press is starting to put it all together because it's such a huge story.
So just real quick, when Les and Bill Cosby call you up, now back then, what did they invite you over or what happened?
No, they were in L.A.
Oh, okay, so it was just like they called.
He called to tell me that Bill Cosby watched my pilot and said she's a TV star.
Wow. And now in hindsight, it's weird, but back then it was probably like, wow, this is incredible.
Well, I always knew that I was funny enough to, and I knew that everybody's like, I've even had a girl interview me, they'd say like, oh, it was easy for you. I'm like, actually, it wasn't easy for me. I proved myself on every level. I got my deal from taking a meeting, and then I shot a pilot, and then from that pilot, I shot another pilot, and from that pilot, I got Costello. So it wasn't like I was...
Right, you worked for everything you got.
Well, it did happen fast, but I also, from my performance, I got things.
Right.
And it was a lot to have it happen so fast, too. It was intense. So... I was on the set of Southie. Rose McGowan came back from Sundance and told me a story about what happened to her. Allegedly with Mr. Harvey Weinstein. And then Les Moonves called me and told me to come to L.A. because he had just fired Ileana Douglas, so I had to take over for her.
Right.
I went through the whole situation with Costello. I knew what I was talking about, and I knew the shit show. I mean, it got preempted the night of the premiere. Everybody said it was like the best show they had ever seen. And the funny thing is, I remember the Marines hanging off the rafters the night of my pilot, screaming, the men,
right.
We fucking love you, Sue. And I remember thinking, I'm there's something about me that the men get.
Right, yeah.
And I knew there was something going on, that it was like special. And so, because I was talking about what gets to the working class people. And so they preempted. It was all marketing. And I mean, I could go on and on about the sexism back then. They literally, first of all.
And back then it was like the Wild West almost. It was not how it is today.
No, and the crazy, like it took me so long to even accept that sexism was part of it because it was so overwhelming. You couldn't even really see it or else you couldn't function. No, my name on the show, the name of the show was Costello, and my name on the show was called Murphy. They wouldn't even let me have my whole name.
Wow.
But I mean, now as you look back, there's a lot coming out now about movie posters, like when they do a movie poster, all the men's full bodies are in the movie poster, and only parts of the women's bodies are in there. They have compartmentalized us and objectified us, and they've tried everything to not let us have our power, which we're not even trying to. We're just trying to be. And even the women that work 9 to 5, they're just trying to work without being harassed or abused and make enough money. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And do you think the tide has changed with the Me Too?
It's totally changed.
Yeah.
So then I take over for Atlanta Douglas. So then Costello gets canceled. I start writing my play. I start really working on. I'm like, I want to do it like the boys do it. I've always been like, I want to do it like the boys do it.
Right.
And I didn't know how hard it was going to be. And I have had take your shirt off, give me your money. So many club owners ruined their business because I was funny and they didn't like it because they were comic. I mean, this is no bullshit. Like I could have said this years ago and people might have been like, oh la la. And no, there's no. I am unshakable on this now. And so people were starting to come to me because they were like, Suze, I've been through the sexism, and I was making jokes about it on stage.
Right.
And this is before any of the Me Too stuff happened. And people, IFC came to me, ABC wanted me to do a talk show, and they were all starting to be like, oh, Sue has the experience, and now she knows how to talk about what it's like to be a woman while being funny. Because that's what I love. That's what comedy is. Tragedy plus time equals comedy.
Right.
And I love, that's my favorite thing is like the tragic comic,
to
the
make
comedic
that,
tragic.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And so I had a tour booked at the end of in the summer of 2017 for 6 weeks. They came to me. They wanted me to headline, and the guy called me. I was flying all over the country, and he wanted my passport. It was like 4 months before the tour, and my passport had expired. And I said very nicely, because this is the thing they tell you: be nice, don't threaten the guy. La, la, la. I did everything that the book told you to do. Everything that you're supposed to do. And I said, as soon as I get back to New York on Monday, I'm going to get it. I'll even get it expressed. And so Friday, he emails me. I'm still in Boston. I'm about to headline it. And he's like, where's your passport? And this is where I could, from all my experience, I'm like, okay, this guy's being a bully right now because I just told him, and he's making it, this is what they do to you. They make it impossible for you. Like, well, I already told you very clearly, I'm going to do it on Monday. I'm going to work. You asked me to work. It's a weird thing that happens.
He's making a power move. Trying to show you who's who in the scenario.
And this is what no one ever saw. They never saw it because it always happened in the dark. And because of the Me Too Time's Up movement, now everybody's like, what
now
the
fuck?
Yeah.
Now
like,
people's eyes are opening
because
up.
we almost didn't even know to say it out loud because everybody would we almost just didn't. I'm going to tell the story about Vegas, too, because we almost didn't know to say it out loud. So anyway, I say to him, he says, well, his defense was, I said, I told you that I'm going to do it Monday. And he's like, well, comics are unreliable. And I said, well...
And we all know that's not true.
I said, well, maybe that might be true, but let's give me a chance. And, let's respect me, and then if I'm not reliable, then we'll deal with it.
Right.
And I was walking to go on stage, and he emailed me and pulled the tour. And it was like a slice through my chest that I had felt a million times before, where I knew it was purely just ego. And I knew I had to stand up to him because I was going to China. This wasn't even like going to Long Island. This was going to China by myself with this guy. And I was like, I have to see if he can respect. I'm not going to China.
You have to set the boundary.
Yes. The boundary of something that I wasn't even involved in.
Right.
He was starting with me.
Right, yeah. He's trying to
and
leverage
so again, here we talk about it again. I had to walk on stage and headline with that slice down my chest. So this is what people don't understand, what happens to women. Yeah. I had to go kill at my show so I could get paid and keep my career going while this guy's doing this. So I went home that Monday and I sat at my desk and a little voice came to me and said, go see Les Moonves. And thus began the journey.
So you just got like a calling.
It was so weird. Because I was that feeling of like I had it. I had fucking had it. I had it from all the, just that kind of whipping the money away from me just because of the ego. That's it. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you can say all that.
That's when you were empowered to just take a stand, and that voice in your head, and you had the status to just call Les Moonves at that point, and set up a meeting. I emailed him. Yeah, and then bang, next thing you know.
I said, "Will you meet with me?" He said, "Sure."
And this is the president of CBS at the time. And
that's what's so confusing. Like now, people are finally starting to get. Now, after my 30 years of surviving,
so
seriously, people are like, "Oh, they're like, Sue must have suffered a lot of sexism." And they're like, "Sue's really strong." And this producer the other day, he's like, "Sue," he's like, and he also, this is what he said to me. He said that they keep pulling your whole career. They've pulled you close to hurt you.
That's what it's like. It's like they pull you cose and then they stab you in the back.
But that's abuse. That's an abusive cycle.
That's definitely abuse.
And it's funny because I wrote my first op-ed, which they fucking squelched. about saying that I'm ending this cycle of abuse with Hollywood with me, because I would play a role in it, and that's what I want to show people. That's what my play is about. That it takes two to tango in an abuse situation. But
Right.
otherwise, you're just a victim, and I'm not a victim.
Right. No,
I've never been.
No, you definitely don't. You're an empowered woman. You empower me.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what inspiring is supposed to do. You're not supposed to go around and be like la la la.
No,
You're supposed to just tell your story.
Lead by example.
Yes, and then people go, I can do that.
Because
This is why they didn't want me to get to the people. Just so you know, this is why they've played this game with me my whole career.
Right, they're trying to keep you
But
quiet.
they need what I have because I'm for the people.
Right.
I'm a regular person.
Right, exactly. And so let's just get back to the story real quick, because I don't know how we're doing on time, but so you get Les Moonves.
We can't tell the whole story right now, and I like to keep not telling the whole story so people can keep listening and
Right,
watching. Because what I'm
wanna
doing
know.
is live action doing this.
Right.
There's no anything but me live action living what's going on right now, and I want people to watch me. And it's like I want.
And hopefully people are sharing this interview right now, because this is like breaking news in a way, right?
yeah.
I mean, we're finding out that
So all the press are starting to really realize, because I've been tenacious, they're like, Sue Costello really has, and it's like one of the journalists was like, Sue, you have the biggest Hollywood story and no one's paying attention. I'm like, yeah, because they were so busy with the sex.
Right, and they're not thinking about all the other stuff.
About business, about intellectual property, about how sex is just a tactic. And I was saying that all last year to the press. I said, no, that's just a tactic. Anybody will tell you, even rape is just a tactic. It's a power. It's for money and power. And so what I've done with my deal, I negotiated my own deal. It's a huge story. I negotiated my own TV deal by myself with no agent, no manager, no attorney. I negotiated a badass motherfucking pro-female, provisions for female that have never been done before without...
And this is what you negotiated with Les Moonves and his people.
The head attorney at CBS Corporation, yes.
So you, Susie Caduzzi, went up against one of the biggest lawyers the CBS had to put up against you.
And you out-negotiated him.
You out-negotiated him. That's
and
pretty
they're
awesome.
Pissed. And they don't want nobody to know. Oh, and the other thing is Les. So I went to meet with Les because I literally, in the back of my head, I was like, I'm going to go face-to-face and see this guy. I'm from Boston. I was like, I'm going to go and sit across from this man.
So you and Les were face-to-face.
I was like, I'm going to go back and I know what he did to me when I was younger with my career, and I'm like, and I'm back. And I went back to see him, and he kept it. I wanted advice. That's all I asked him for. I was not looking for anything.
Right.
And it's this weird thing that they do, too, where you don't want anything. It's also like an abusive relationship. A guy will abuse you into all of a sudden you have a relationship with them for 6 years, and you're like, how did I even get here? I didn't even like that guy.
Yeah. Like, what's going on?
There's so
like, how
many
this happen?
parallels, and because I've stayed calm and stayed steady, and now I can verbalize them. I got through the pain, and now I'm able to verbalize them. So he kept asking me, how are you making a living? 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 I'll never it is so burned in my head. I've started blogging, too. You can go to my blog on my website. I started yesterday. I blogged today. I blogged. I'm going to stop blogging the story.
Okay.
They started shooting the documentary last week about what's going on, about all the work. I mean, it's like...
So you got a lot going. There's a documentary.
Like
there's a blog.
revolutionary or something. And they were saying it to me while it was happening, and I didn't know what everybody was saying to me because I had to just keep going. I had to just keep doing what I was doing because if I messed up one tiny bit, they would have squished me.
Yeah, so here you are, like you just said a little while ago. You're not full college educated.
No.
You're a comedian who could sense people and sense the temperature of the.
And my dad was a labor mediator.
Your dad
so
was and you have street smarts. You have the working class street smarts.
You know what my friend who's a cop said to me? You know what he said to me?
What?
He said, Sue, your street smarts got you out of that office with Les Moonves.
Yeah.
He said that to me, and I was like, what? That's what's going to be interesting is the more I tell the story, because we don't tell the story, because we get abused and we're muffled, but I'm like, I'm not going to be quiet anymore. And then more people start telling you different aspects of the story, and you're like, that's where you get free, because you're like, oh.
You're right.
People see the aspects, and they're like, oh, that was going on. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know because I was so close to it.
Right,
so, yeah. My street smarts.
The street smarts got you through.
My gut.
And then your status as a comic and all you worked for got you into this Les Moonves scenario.
My talent.
Yeah, and your talent. And here you are, and then you out-negotiate a top lawyer for CBS, and then they started giving you the runaround. And this is like right before it all went down with Moonves.
What they were going to do is they were going to use me to throw me in front of Les and say, Sue was in the office with them and nothing happened, and she was 2017. All the other stories were earlier. But you have to understand something. So then the Les article comes out, and first of all, the Harvey article comes out after I leave Les's office. I tell him I'm broke. I did it on purpose. I said I'm broke because I was like throwing the steak at the lion. I was like let's see what he does with this.
Right, because if he knows that you're broke or assumes you're broke,
Watch how they behave.
he's
see.
going to then know he could take advantage of you,
Yes.
perhaps not in a sexual way.
No, this is finance. This
Financial
is money.
way.
This is
Like,
the
he could
this
own
is
you.
behind the sex
Right, he
stuff.
could
And who
take-
knows?
yeah, right.
But the money is behind the sex stuff.
Right.
They don't want us to have that, and they'll just take whatever they can take. And
Right.
He was like, he wanted my play. He was like, film me play.
Yeah.
And when he said that to me, I was like, that's a motherfucker. I just told him I don't have any money. And
Yeah.
I sat on that couch and I was like, okay. And the energy changed in the room. And I think it was a power. I think it was a power switch. I think I got the power when I didn't ask him for money. Is what
Right.
happened.
And then
because he
yeah.
started auditioning for me and acting weird and la 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 la. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go.
Well, take me. How was he? What was he like? So when the power switched and now you're in control, Les Moonves
I
started
didn't
trying.
know what was happening. I'm
Yeah.
telling this in hindsight.
Yeah. So
I
he's
didn't
trying to
know.
like sell you, like, hey,
Yes,
Sue,
you got to
and
see
he's
this.
literally.
Did you see my show? Did you see my show that I
Wow.
did on Showtime? And I said, no, I don't watch other people's show. I don't want to be influenced
Yeah,
by it.
right,
And then
yeah.
he got even more. And then he's like, don't sign any deals. Don't sign any deals. And inside I was like, give me a deal, you motherfucker. And I got on the other side of the road, the door, and I remember this surge came through my body, and I was like, it is on. And I didn't know what was on. And he even
Right.
said to me, I remember his body shook. When we stood up, his body like kind of shook, and he was like, I think you're ready for what's about to happen to you. And I remember thinking, maybe neither one of us knew what was about to happen to him.
Right.
Maybe he knew he was going to try to fucking crush me. I don't know, but
And how soon
was
after?
ready.
Yeah, I know you were ready.
I was ready.
But I don't think he was ready.
no, I don't think he was ready. They never calculated in a million years. They never even put it on, and that I might not do what they bet the house that I would do. They bet it. They bet the house.
Yep.
They bet the house, and they were going to throw me in front of all the other women and make me go against women.
And that was the dumbest. They wanted you to be like their token to say, hey, Moonves made a deal with Sue. There was no alleged sex involved in any of this stuff, and she's one of us, right, Sue? And then they wanted you to be a puppet.
Sue fucked Les. Sue fucked Les. Why did Sue get that deal? Sue fucked Les. And then all my negotiations would have went out the window too. So they would have made me look like a whore. You would have lost all my intelligence, all my intellectual property.
You would have lost
everything.
your reputation and all that kind.
Everything. And the
would-
press was coming after
yeah.
me too. That's the other thing. This guy was writing an article about my comeback, and as soon as Mark Maron edited my WTF and dropped it the day before the article came out, and he made it sound like I loved Les Moonves, and then they lied to me and said they didn't do it, and I'm like, you guys, we're going through you can't gaslight me. This is like.
So for Marin to want to edit the interview, what would be his motive? Do you think?
It's almost as if my whole year last year, while going through all this with all the men, the guy at the WGA, the entertainment attorney, it's almost like they were covering for each other because they all kept saying, "You're going to take us all down, Sue," and I was like, "What are they talking about?" I didn't even know what was happening.
And this is all accredited mainly to your negotiation skills, or the fact that you wouldn't be their puppet. Like, what do you think's the most?
They were all noticing that I had 30 years of experience of being a woman and that I was still very much put together and I don't miss a fucking trick.
Right.
So then they were like, uh-oh. Usually by now we would have had to go mental and be bitter and angry and everybody would be like, oh, she's just bitter. And now they're like, oh.
Right. So
It's almost like I feel like they were like, how'd she get out of the cage? Costello's out of the cage. Costello's out of the cage. They called each other and they're like, Costello's out of the cage. Costello's out of the cage. And people are like, Sue, how'd you get out? I'm like, I just walked out. The door was open. I just went, oh, hi, everybody. Yeah, I've been in the offices with these men. I was in the hotel room with Mark. I was in the office with Les. I was in the office with the entertainment attorney who cornered me. I mean, it was really gnarly. And I was like, this is like the suffrage time. I'm like, this is really crazy.
So where are we?
It's overwhelming, I know.
Yeah, it's a lot.
know.
There's a lot to the
I know.
puzzle. Where are we now with it? What's going on with?
Well, now everybody's going to try to tell the story. My whole purpose was to get the story out. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to tell the story. I wanted to get the story out so nobody can abuse you in the dark anymore. And then from there, I still have my show. I'm going to make my show. I'm going to still do what I set out to do. That's what everybody needs to know. All I wanted to do was make my show.
Right.
And they did all this crazy, disgusting stuff, and I'm still exactly where I was before, where I just want to make my show. And I feel like that speaks to women who work 9 to 5, people who work in McDonald's, people who work everywhere, men, everybody who just wants to do their job and not get completely fucked over every single day.
Right on. Well, Sue, you're
Yes.
sticking around for the show. We're going to get started with our podcast game show. We're going to have a lot of fun, okay? You're going to be judging some comedians who have come here today. We have some very good ones today. We got Kristen Tinsley and Justin McDonald are both here today to do this show. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're going to be right back with Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up. Sue Costello, everybody.
Yay, woo!
All right, let's bring him in.
Live from the back room of the world-famous Governor's Comedy Club in the heart of Levittown, Long Island, it's Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up with your host, the omtivio Don Sill.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, and welcome to Put Up, Shut Up, or Stand Up. I'm Don Sill, and this is the game show podcast. Benny, I need that, please. And this is the podcast game show right here on govsradio.com and Facebook Live for all you people watching. And this is the podcast game show where we take two comedians and put them head-to-head in a series of comedic matchup showdowns to find out which one has what it takes and which one has what it ain't.
Uh-oh.
Oh, ain't. Oh, here we go.
It's a Bonix
I didn't know
now.
there was a fight.
Here we
Hold
go.
on.
I'm Don
my
Sill,
goodness.
your host, and let's meet our judges. Over here, we're going to first introduce, straight out of Savin Hill, Massachusetts. She is a veteran stand-up comedian and actress who has been in such feature films as Southie with Donnie Wahlberg and The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg, and also Eating a Hamburger at Wahlberg's. It is the one and only Susie Caduzzi. Sue Costello is here, everybody.
Yeah.
And our next judge is actor, writer, and comedian known for his role in Roxanne, about the
Yeah.
real Roxanne Shante.
Yeah. Oh, you watched.
I do, I'm a fan. and
Oh,
I did
nice.
watch it.
Awesome.
He performs regularly all around Long Island. He's calm, he's cool. He's Nigel Fullerton. Hello, Nigel.
I feel like I'm on American Bandstand. He's calm and he's cool.
You better be calm and cool then.
Some people call me a dick, but sometimes I'm Dick Clark, too. And now, everybody, let's give our hand to our very own Gagoots. The Gagoots is here as well today.
Yeah.
I also want to, Goose, how you doing, buddy? Oh, there's no microphone for you right now, Goose.
No mic. I'm allowed enough by myself.
I also want to introduce our third judge, straight from the Knock 'em Dead radio show. She is engineer extraordinaire, Sally O'Neill.
Yay, Sally!
Sally rocks. She's on the ones and twos and makes it all happen for us. Catch her show Mondays through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
11:01.
Right here on govsradio.com and on Facebook Live as well. So how is all of our judges doing tonight? Everybody's doing good?
Yeah.
Good. We can't complain.
Excellent.
But I don't want to get into no fights.
There will be no actual physical fights.
But what if we pick somebody? I have to pick the girl.
I would pick the girl too. I would. They were the worst.
All right, show's over.
I spent 30 minutes talking to them already.
Very good. Very good.
You know? Jesus.
I get to go home now. Awesome.
You're not going
All right, it's not his first time getting beat by a girl. Won't be his last.
Yes,
It's the Me Too movement. You have to lose.
It's all about me too. Hashtag. That's how they do it, right? Kids do it today.
If you
Hashtag me
win,
too.
you have to write a speech about having being privileged.
White privilege right here.
Cis
white
white
privilege.
privilege.
We both live in
Cis white
Huntington
privilege.
Station. We don't know nothing about white
Yeah,
privilege.
stop going to my Family Dollar. I saw you in there the other
You
day.
did? You didn't say hi?
I was driving past.
Oh, okay. Oh, my God.
Well, let me introduce you guys first so people know who you are.
Oh, yeah, they all know who we are.
Okay, she's a local comedian from Levittown, Long Island, and the head script reader, writing coach, and story analyst for Film Genius Script Counseling. Meet Kristen Tinsley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you give him a fucking bio?
That's who I am,
Fine,
actually.
sorry.
Undercover, man.
He's from Huntington Station. He's a comedian, radio personality, and podcaster who can be heard on my old stomping grounds, 90.1 WUSB radio. It's Justin McDonald.
Yeah. All right.
Actually, not a part of that radio show anymore.
Oh, you're not?
That's okay.
No, it's okay though.
Did
Still
you-
credentials.
Did you
Still
like
my
your time
credentials.
over there at WUSB?
I was there for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, wow.
It was a good time. We had the #1 hip hop radio show in Long Island.
Nice. So we got a hip hop theme going on because I know
And
Susie
you can
loves hip hop.
freestyle,
I
too.
love
Not
hip
anymore.
hop.
Freestyle
Not
too.
anymore. Not anymore.
Oh, you never
We're
lose
gonna have a-
that, homie. What
Oh,
are you talking
come
about?
on.
Nah.
Cipher. Didn't you read round 4? That's the cipher. So we're gonna go around and do a little rhyming because we can all freestyle. Nigel, can you freestyle?
No, I can only beatbox.
You can. Oh, that's all we need.
That's all you
That's
need.
all we need. Susie, you ready? You want to do a freestyle?
We're gonna do freestyle, not my prepared rap.
You can do your prepared rap.
No, I don't care. I used
So
to
you
have one
bring
when
up
I
rap,
worked at
dude.
McDonald's.
Huh,
You worked at
wanna-
McDonald's? I
Yes.
worked at McDonald's, too.
You
Like,
did?
Awesome.
What part? I worked on the second drive-through window, and I got put on probation because I kept getting my head caught in the drive-through window. That's why I became a comic. I was like, life is.
Yeah, you're like.
Yeah.
I'm still
I
working
think
at
everybody that works
McDonald's.
all
I'm
became.
still working at McDonald's. This week is the floors. Next week is the fries.
You're moving up. You keep moving up. Just keep
After
moving
that, assistant manager, and that's when the big bucks roll in.
Well, you got to do the milkshakes first, and then don't get ahead of
Man.
yourself. Don't get too ahead.
I got
I
you.
forgot to do that.
French
I always
fries,
had to do
milkshakes,
the
burgers.
window.
I'm still cleaning toilets. It's been years.
I did that too in the
Where are you cleaning
bathhouse.
toilets? Where are you cleaning?
McDonald's.
Oh,
I haven't moved up.
Oh, you did it at McDonald's.
very good, very
Now, they
good.
wouldn't hire me at McDonald's because of my last name. So
Yeah, it's kind of redundant. It's like Justin McDonald, McDonald,
at
McDonald,
McDonald's,
McDonald's.
And then you can walk around and say, "I'm the owner of this
boss, I'm the
bitch,"
owner.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know what
I'm
I'm
sure that's what they were afraid of.
because you do look authoritative.
He looks like his father's name is Ronald.
Yeah,
So you want fries with that,
Ronaldo,
sir?
like
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
I do. Yeah.
No, I know.
Ronaldo.
I'm trying to stay away from that.
So, Kristen, tell us a little bit about your life. Where are you from, and where'd you go to school, and all that? good
I
stuff?
went to school right back there at Division Avenue. I'm a Levittown girl through and through. I just moved to Huntington Station, so I'm getting used to that. Yes, I am a script reader and script analyst, and for many very famous Hollywood producers who I will not name drop because that's not what I'm about. But I'm also a comedy producer of Tins Cuff Comedy Productions. I produce comedy shows in here in the Little Room and at Coaster's Tavern in East Meadow and at Vinoco's in Farmingdale. So I just basically started out. I'm a newbie, but that's me. And I'm also a holistic nutritionist too.
Very
With my
cool.
own TV show in North Shore Television.
Wow, you're a very, very busy woman.
I am.
Just tell me one thing. What do you look for in a comedian when you're hiring comics for your shows?
They have to be funny.
The funny part is funny, but I really do look for that hard work, determination. If they And also if they can fit, because when I say Tins Cuff Comedy Productions, I really mean productions because I come from a film background. I put on shows. You really kind of have to fit into the scheme of things. So if you're willing to participate in the comic commercials, you have some, not just comedy, but also acting background, and you're willing to put yourself out there like that, then I'm gonna put you on my show.
So would you hire Justin?
I have
Yes.
several times.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Several times. He's been in my comic
So he
commercials.
fits the
He's-
bill.
Yeah.
I did one of
He's
her,
been around,
I did one of her commercials.
Yeah,
It was,
yeah.
Very good. Great. And Justin, when did you start doing stand-up comedy?
It'll be 4 years in May.
Okay, and when did you start? You started here at Governor's or one of
No,
the other clubs?
you know what? I had a podcast that I was doing that was a comedy podcast because after I quit doing radio, I kind of got, and hip-hop, because I was a hip-hop artist as well, I was getting artistically stifled. So I started doing a podcast at night because I worked nights at the time. So my wife would be sleeping. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd be doing a podcast. And somebody hit me up and was like, "Are you a comic?" And I was like, "Kinda. You want to do a show?" And it kind of just went from there. So my first show was at a VFW in Bohemia for Aragon of Comedy.
Very cool. Now the freestyle hip-hop stand-up comedy, how do those go together in your mind when writing either or? Aren't they very similar, would you say?
No. Music's a lot easier, especially if you're in a band. I was in a group. Music, you have a lot of things to cover up your tracks. So it's not just you doing your lyrics. You have beat, you have background, you have hype man, you have other group members. With comedy and writing, that's you and the people in front of you.
Yeah.
And you're up there by yourself. And if you suck, which for my first year I absolutely sucked, and I bombed a lot.
That's all part of it.
It's it. There's no covering up, and the people will let you know. So, and writing's much different. Writing hip hop wise, I was writing more street than I was anything else. And comedy, I'm trying to make people laugh, and talking about street stuff isn't necessarily funny.
It can be.
It can be.
mean,
I have some street jokes that I do, but nothing. It's not like to what I would be doing for hip hop.
What was your rap name?
Struggle.
Struggle?
I like it.
It's perfect.
It was given to me by Eric Sermon's sister.
Oh, very
Kim
good.
Sermon. Yeah.
I went to high school with Eric, Brentwood.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Brentwood, man. Represent.
Yeah, me too. What?
EPMD.
Yeah, man, I have a knife just to fit in.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
You gotta
School of
cut
Hard
you
Knocks,
in.
baby.
I know Parrish Smith from, actually I know him very well. My friend signed his label and everything, but he used to come to the radio show. I met a lot of people doing that radio
Yeah,
show.
Parrish
It was
taught
cool.
me how to rap when I was in Boy Scouts. Did you know he was an Eagle Scout?
No, I didn't know,
Yeah,
but
Parrish-
I wouldn't be
was an Eagle
surprised.
Scout?
Parrish Smith's an Eagle Scout. His dad was our scoutmaster. He was a great
only
man,
thing
Mr.
I knew
Smith.
about him was that he drank Old English and could not stand Miller.
Damn.
Big conspiracy theorist too.
Well, speaking of writing jokes and writing raps, we had a challenge for you guys. It was our first challenge of the day. We got to get Benny a microphone to read these instructions.
You can use mine. Oh.
Yeah,
Now take it.
Benny.
I'm scared.
All right. So Benny's been doing the
That is the oldest
read.
Mario brother I've ever seen.
Are you guys ready for round one? The joke writing challenge.
Round 1, the drawing board. Every comedian should write their own material, and this round will test their joke writing skills like no other. Both comedians were tasked to write an original joke with a comedy premise and 4 key words that they received 24 hours prior to tonight's show. Judges give their score based on originality, creativity, style, resourcefulness, and of course, funny.
Very good. So now it's time to see their joke writing skills. We'll start off with actually let's do the rock paper scissors to see which one will start off the funny
1, 2,
here.
3, and go.
1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah, I'll count it. Ready?
Oh, thank you.
1, 2, 3, hit. You win. So we start with Kristen.
Okay.
Kristen Tinsley, ladies and gentlemen. Now the premise was, so I send the premise and the 4 keywords to them.
Okay.
24 hours ago. The premise was, I'm so thankful for, and the keywords randomly chosen from my Pornhub account is goofy, regret, triumph, and cuddly. Goofy, regret, triumph, and cuddly. These are my searches on Pornhub.
That's some interesting porn.
Are you ready, Kristen?
I am ready. How long do we have?
As long as you got.
All right, good.
And we're going to start it off right now.
Let's start right now.
Kinsley.
All right. So I am so thankful that I had weight loss surgery. And people ask me, do you have any regrets? And I say, well, of course, I do have some regrets. I regret that I didn't do it sooner because I'm sorry I took so much time, to not offend you, to keep offending you with my fatness. I should have cut out more than 80% of my stomach a lot sooner to keep myself from eating everything. That's my only regret. And so I'm 80 pounds away from actually reaching my goal. 80 pounds away. Think about that. 80 pounds. I'm also 80 pounds away from being able to communicate with other fat people on the same level that we all used to think about, like, oh yeah, I ate 12 pizzas the other day. Oh yeah, I ate, 12 dozen donuts. Ha ha. I can't say that anymore. So I'm going to have to resort to, my fat girl voice. Like, yeah, let me get 12 of those. Let me get 15,000 munchkins of those in that box over there. I got to, talk to people down on that level, So, but no, I'm actually happy that I get to wear normal clothes instead of the goofy muumuus from Women Within. Women Within is a plus-size site. It's a catalog that sells plus-size clothing for women. Woman within. Think about that for a second. You're a beast on the outside, but you're a woman within. And we're going to sell you clothes that has a birdhouse on it. You know what happened to me when I wore one of those muumuus walking down the street with a birdhouse on it? You know exactly what happened to me, right, brother? I got nothing but birds flying at me trying to make a home out of my chest, but it didn't work out like that. So, because I just popped them shits in my mouth and kept it moving. That's why I had to have the weight loss surgery. But I'm actually very, I don't miss food. People ask me, do you miss food? They think I don't eat. When you cut out 80% of your stomach, most people think 80%. They think that's, you have no stomach left at all. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just doing fine surviving on air. You want to lose weight like me, if you hold your breath long enough, you'll lose weight too. When you're dead. R.I.P. So I've lost all this weight, and now all I have left is the dick bumper, and the dick bumper is down here. This lower stomach part that's still left down there. And I'm it's hanging. It's the flab of fat that hangs down like a crooked smile, like my mother, stopping all the dick from getting in. But I'm very thankful for Irish men because they don't give a crap. They do not care. They don't care at all. They say, hey, girlie, you're nice and cute and cuddly. Let me ride on your fat patty. And if I can, like a seal trying to head into the ocean, and if I could be triumphant and get into the ocean before being eaten by the whale, well, then I'm having a good day. And then some guys really try to get past the fat bumper, I had this one guy trying to do it. It was really hard, He just kept banging his head into the fat bumper, and he just kept hitting it real hard or whatever like that. He hit it so hard, he started getting all fucked up and twisted like Goofy. Like, I can't get it in. I'm sorry.
Very good. You made an entire bit, like a whole
set.
A whole set out of that stuff. Wow. Okay. We got to get the judges'
That was
takes.
our half-hour call.
Now you know what it's called.
I mean,
Can we get the boards? Hey, Benny, can you get me the whiteboards, please, my friend? So, while you guys deliberate and kind of come up with your scores and your critiques for the half-hour comedy special.
I'm looking forward to these critiques. I really need. Yeah, you have to critique me.
oh my God.
Yes. So we'll take this.
It's out of what?
And this out of 10.
We have to just make up our own critiques?
Yeah, 1 to 10 and come up with your own critique. And while we're doing that,
This can come across as twatty.
what?
This could come across as very twatty if I don't watch myself.
No, you can be as party as you want to be. It's all about girl power.
We can handle it. Don't worry, I can handle it. Trust me, I can take it.
So, Kristen, when you got the joke writing challenge, and you started writing, what was going, like, you were just like, I got a whole thing. This is just opening up a whole.
It just comes.
And the whole,
Yeah.
what do you call it, dick pad? What's it called again?
Yeah, it's the
dick
dick
bumper.
It's the dick bumper.
The dick
It's the dick
bumper.
bumper. Yeah,
I
it's
thought
the
it was
dick
called
bumper.
a fupa, or
No, the fupa is actually what's underneath the dick bumper.
Oh,
I didn't get to that part yet.
That's the next challenge.
There
like
must be
it
something
sounded
in
like
that.
that's what's like stopping the dicks. Like
like they're coming. Yeah, right.
That was what I was writing down as one of my notes.
I was like, you could just lift that up. Like, I don't.
There's a lot in there because the Irish guys have, most people say Irish guys have small, they can't actually get in there.
I didn't understand where you were getting at.
Is that true?
That was a dig at you. That was a dig at you.
I didn't understand that because like when you did the Irish, when you did that Irish voice, you sounded like Captain Ahab, and I thought you were hunting for Moby Dicks rather than Irish dicks.
Wow.
So
I'm always on a hunt for a good Moby Dick.
So where did the dick bumper? Tell me the genesis of dick bumper.
It actually happened to me. There was a guy that I slept with that I felt so bad, like he couldn't get, when I was at my heaviest, I really did have weight loss surgery. He could not get past that. So he just kind of like rocked back and forth on top of me and kind of got his penis caught in like the inner part of my thigh. And I just didn't have the heart to tell him that it didn't get in. So that was the fat bumper that
Wow.
I came up, and that just kind of like stuck with me. So
That's an image that I'm never
I
going to
think
burn
you-
out of my head now.
Wow.
Thank you.
that was several hundred pounds.
Are we supposed to
ago,
write
and,
down?
Yeah, write down
our
your
thing,
score.
or I wrote down my score.
Yeah, you write down your score.
I've never
then,
heard of that happening.
and
Well,
then
it
you can give
happened.
your notes. Yeah,
And
yeah.
it
I've
happened.
slept
However
with
you
some
want to
pretty
do
big
it.
girls.
There's
It's
no right way or
never-
wrong way. As long as
This
you
guy
have a
was
point
very
score.
ambitious. He
Oh,
really
man.
wanted to have sex
Jeez,
with me
oh.
and just got really excited.
Well, to me, there's no bumper in the world for most guys that's going to stop them. They're
Yeah.
going to find. They'll be
Trying to
creative.
figure it out.
They'll be creative. They'll find a way.
Yeah.
There's never with a guy on a mission to get past the bumper. It's going to happen.
Oh yeah, a homeless man's gonna look for food.
Yeah,
So if you're horny enough, you're gonna look for whatever it is.
Exactly.
There's treasure in those hills.
Don't worry, 80 more pounds to go and it'll be gone. We don't have to worry about
There's
that.
no bumper
several
big
men
enough,
can get
folks.
past it. Just-
Exactly.
No. All right,
just
so let's
kidding.
start with the judges. We'll start with
Sex is always better when there's feelings involved.
That's true.
that's
It
true.
is.
That's okay.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That's why you
very
don't sleep
much.
with somebody that's just one night.
We'll start with you, Susie.
Andre 3000.
That's a direct quote.
Oh my god.
It is true. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes.
Andre 3000.
Oh my god. I didn't
Whoa.
even think about that like in my mind. And I'm supposed to be the rap guy.
You were in Roxanne, man.
Me too.
You too.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
All right, Susie, what
Throw
do
some
you got?
By
D's
the
on it.
pluses, I liked your delivery. It was very funny. And I like the truthfulness. People love truthfulness in comedy. They can identify. And I love that you committed the fuck out of that half-hour set. I like that very much.
Oh my
You
god.
didn't even have any comprehension, nothing. You didn't care. You were like, I'm doing this half hour. I came all the way here, and I'm fucking
doing
taking
it.
up my space.
Yeah.
The minuses was I was confused about the dick bumper. I didn't know what the dick bumper is, and so if everybody's thinking in their head while you're doing it, like, what's a dick bumper, or what does it look like? I was thinking, because it made me think of, like pinball.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe like a bowling, like a bumper. You know, the bumper in the pinball?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
something. See, that kind of, or bumper cars. That would be like, because you said it keeps the dick from getting in.
If I was standing up and I could actually like emphasize this area, then I think it would have been more clear. But yes, you are right. I do need to actually like say like what it is.
And now the funny, because you can make it even like
Yeah,
50 times funnier by
yes.
saying comparisons to what it really.
Comparisons to what it
People
really
like
is.
visuals. They like to describe. They like, and then you can make another laugh, and then another laugh,
Yeah.
and then another laugh, and then physical, and then
And
call
then keep
back
going
to it,
with that,
and then
yes.
call back to it, and do all
Okay.
sorts of stuff. So that was my critique.
Excellent.
Oh, and you got an 8. You got an 8.
Thank you.
Eight.
All right.
And now,
I'm gonna keep my score because I feel bad because I saw her score before I did my score. I love the dick bumper stuff. All right. What I was looking for a little bit more, because when you told the story of how you actually like broke a man's penis, like you have the power to crush penises.
I do.
And I was waiting for it. Like that story was
That is
so
a
much
superpower.
more interesting than what you told me. And I was like, why didn't you say that?
Okay.
Like I would love that. I like your delivery. I just wish that it would have came a little faster. So like for instance, in the beginning when you were talking about wearing different clothes and like being like this body, like I was waiting for that first before anything. And I would love like if you said like you got all your fat girls, you did like a Care Bear stare type thing where like you were talking to each other like with the the bellies are out and you're like something like that. Like I would love that.
Character, I got you.
I would love that. But all in all, I liked it. It was dope. I gave you 7.
Thank
7
you.
points
Thank you
from Nigel.
very much, Nigel.
Very
Thank
good.
you. I love that.
Sally O'Neill,
I'm gonna write this whole down.
what do you got?
Yeah, I took some notes too, and I had the same thing. I liked the how you rolled out the dick bumper. I thought, like, I love your storytelling. Like, it's obvious you love to write, and I'm not a stand-up comic, but I think you must have a struggle with really wanting to write a whole bunch and having to really cut it down.
Yes.
So I think that's probably your biggest struggle because, just to like nail it like a little bit better. But I think like when it got into like that area, it was great. And I love like the honesty in your writing. It pours out. And when you just went into like the Irish brogue, I thought that was really cool. I didn't expect that. So that was cool. I gave you an 8.
An 8.
Sally.
Yeah. Good. Those are 3 really good scores. Great critiques.
I had to be the Simon Cowell of this.
Yeah.
No, you were right. You were right.
I think we also helped you write a whole new bit for your act.
You certainly did.
Yeah.
Write those down. Those are going to be gold. You have the power to crush penises.
But that's interesting. But the point that you're making is very interesting because the way she was delivering it could have been perceived as humiliating, and you're saying do it from a power.
I would do it from a power thing. Like
Yes.
you can switch it. Like you can say, I thought it was humiliating, but no, I have the power to crush any penis that was thrown at me.
Because the truth of the matter is the men that you told the story to said that they would have sex no matter what.
Right.
So it's the way you perceived it, and you're sending it out instead of coming from the power position, and then all the women will feel so much better when you're doing it because they won't be so ashamed about.
Exactly.
And
I think
about their
every
bumper.
woman-
And-
it's
Right.
every woman has it.
Men
Yeah,
are
it's
always
the
thinking
man's
that they
problem.
did
Right.
something. Like men are always saying, "Oh, I crushed this," or "I did."
That's
No,
right.
you
I broke
crushed
her
it.
back.
Exactly.
Oh, you did?
No. Well, I crushed a couple penises in my day. All right.
Me too.
All right.
Hashtag me too.
Exactly. You want to get your penis crushed? How about that?
Right.
Yeah,
It's a superpower. Hey, do you have that power, Justin?
Absolutely not.
You don't
Absolutely
have
not.
the crush penis?
I would love that.
All right, Justin. Now,
Gay men do seem to like me though, but
so you can if you
I probably
wanted
could
to.
if I wanted to.
And
But
you-
no, I
and you
don't have that power.
I think you have a bumper of your own, perhaps.
Yeah, well.
But did you have any challenges with writing the joke writing challenge?
No, but I wrote a joke, not a whole friggin' bit.
Not a whole
Like,
half an
I
hour.
think you're gonna lose.
Yeah, like great. Now I didn't know we were writing bits.
No, it's
I
supposed
didn't
to be a
know
joke.
that.
Yeah, she
She's a
was the first
storyteller.
ever in Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up history to write a full bit.
Like
based
I
off
watched
joke
the
writing.
show. I didn't know it was supposed to be 15 minutes long.
Told me the theme. I was like pushed back to like
She went,
a
she
Christmas
went
story.
in. We helped her now. Now I cannot wait to see her live because she's going to do stuff that she wrote for us.
Just
Now
Right
changing
here.
it'll be
it,
on
Joe,
the-
yeah,
changing it
it's
to
coming.
a power thing is already
It's
going to
coming.
make it.
But now, Justin, it's your turn.
Okay.
And I will repeat the premises I'm so thankful for. The key words are goofy, regret, triumph, and cuddly. Goofy, regret, triumph, and cuddly. Justin MacDonald.
Mick.
Let's do it!
I'm so thankful my goofy ass was able to triumph and marry such a beautiful woman. My only regret is she's too cuddly and I don't like to be touched.
Very good. There you go. Quick to the point. Okay. So as the judges deliberate and get their scores, Justin, walk me through that joke. Is that based on reality?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My wife's very beautiful, of course. So, yeah. So I was very lucky. Actually, my wife hated me when we met.
Really?
And when I met her, I told her, I was like, "You're gonna marry me. We're gonna have my kids." And for a year, she fucking hated me. Excuse my language again. For a year, she hated me.
Wow.
But she followed my band around, like, so she liked our music, but she hated me. And the reason is when we met, my friend had me on the phone. I was coming home from work. He's like, "Come down to the bar, man. I got this girl I want you to meet." And I'm like, "Nah, I don't feel like coming." He's like, "Just come down to the bar, man. I'm telling you." I'm like, "What's the girl's name?" And he was like, "Oh, her name's Edna." And I was like, "She sounds like a fat old white woman."
Oh God.
And he had me on speakerphone the whole time.
Oh my
He
God.
played you out.
My wife heard it. So when I met her, she's very calm, cool, collected type of person. So she shakes my hand. We're talking for a couple minutes. She's like, "So I'm an old fat white woman, huh?" And my boy just starts cracking up. I'm like, "You played me." He's like, "Yeah, I did." But that's how we met, and I told her that night. I was like, "You're gonna marry me. You're gonna have my kids," and she was like, "Yeah, okay, okay, whatever, guy."
How'd you win her over?
I'm charming. What do you mean?
You can't just say that you're charming and not be charming. Come on, where's the charming? You gotta
she
watch
do
out
it?
with
What's the
guys,
secret?
right? I mean, they're like, I'm charming. It's like, no, let's see some backup. Where's the charm?
Where is it? What'd you do?
No, I just, I slowly worked my way in. I saw her almost every weekend. Her best friend was sleeping with one of my bandmates, and they constantly hung out, so we were constantly meeting at the bar. And it was one of those things where eventually I made her laugh a few times. She saw I was ambitious. I was constantly going. I was working. I was going to the studio. I was doing. I was.
Were you the
I
front man
owned
of the
2
band?
cars. No, we
Owned
were.
two cars.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's
we.
what does it every
I was
time
paying my
Danny's
bills.
on.
I wasn't a slouch, so
Right,
she
right.
realized. And I guess there was something that just sparked in her. So.
So the band
And I'm
was
charming.
You were the rapper. Was it like Linkin Park?
No, we were a hip hop group. We did a lot of original stuff, but we also did we did some Pink Floyd cover stuff. We did hip hop over Pink Floyd. We took a few bands, and everybody knows the Rats and Nim movie.
Which movie?
Yeah.
Rats and Nim. Yeah, we did a whole album.
Yeah. Dim.
Sampled off the movie. Did a whole album called Rats and Nim.
Right.
Like we were just we went anywhere we wanted to. We didn't let ourselves get restricted. So if an idea came up and it was a rock and roll song, Metallica, we did a couple Metallica songs
Hell
that we turned
yeah.
into hip hop
Damn,
songs.
love Metallica.
Like so,
My favorite.
Portishead, we did a whole Portishead
Did you
album.
rap over
wow.
Fuel?
No.
I want to
Rancher
hear
Sandman?
the Metallica stuff, man.
I'll see if I can get it.
Metallica's my like.
And then we had a beatbox artist,
Yeah,
so it was just we never.
Well, we're getting some beatbox action later today, for sure. We got because we're all gonna do a cipher.
Oh, my
We're doing
goodness.
a
And we got
hip-hop-
the
We're gonna
bumper
do a
that
cipher?
can go like
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
So we got the whole thing
The
going
bumper.
right now.
So let's start off this time. We'll start with Sally. And what do you think about Justin's joke?
Yeah, it was short, but it was to the point. But I mean, the thing I liked about it, I mean, it's just I kind of like that you don't go for the cheap jokes of like putting your wife down. Like it was
I do those
nice.
too.
It was like
I do those.
oh, okay. Well, then I just lowered your score by like 2. No.
Oh.
She will. So
my wife is my co-writer. Most
Writer?
of my jokes, even the ones that are about her, go through her, and she'll sometimes be like, "Well, just reword it and say this." So she's like the first person I go to when I do my jokes, and she tells everybody that
tell
comes
you.
to see us, like, he's gonna make fun of the family, he's gonna make fun of me, the kids, and I do that. But I always make sure that everybody knows, like, I do love my wife, I do love my kids. It's
Yeah,
just all it's all in
absolutely.
the name of fun,
No, I mean I liked it. It was short, but it's a solid 7. Easy. Yeah.
7 points.
Thank you.
7 points
Thank
for
All right.
Sally O'Neill. All right, Nigel, we'll go with you.
Oh my God!
doesn't even write anything.
You went with Simon Cowell again. Oh my God! So, I liked it. However, I felt like I was going through Mad Libs because it sounded like you went through everything he said.
I did.
like you did a haiku instead of a real joke to me. But I liked it. It was cute. But compared to her like long short thesis that you had here, I couldn't give you the same score that she had. So I gave you a 6.
Oh, thanks.
That's how I kind of felt too. Like I kind of felt like I was still adjusting my microphone, and then it was done. I was like, oh wait,
Yeah.
wait, what?
But that was kind of like a psychological trick because realistically, he played by the rules, right?
Yeah,
Right.
He did. No, he did play by the rules.
Yeah.
Right.
She came
You
right
asked
in
me to
from
write a joke,
behind
I
and
wrote
was
a
like,
joke.
And
"I'm
I
gonna
think
go
your wife
slow."
wrote that joke too because it was very short.
Oh, snap, crackle.
No.
So what was your score again?
6.
A 6. Okay, and Susie, what
Mine
do you
was
got?
a 7.
7 points.
I like that it was quick and put to the point. The punchline could have been a little funnier.
I think too. Also, I think that it is a tough challenge to write a joke with the keywords and all that
Yeah,
kind
but
of
we're
stuff.
comedians.
Yeah, but we are comedians.
That's what we have to do.
Like I'm so
That's a
thankful.
I
challenge.
just think the delivery, you could have delivered it more. To me, you just like
You know what's the
reading it,
easy
just
joke
go,
here? The easy joke is I'm so thankful for porn.
And
Exactly.
you can't make excuses, though. I mean, when we used to do
no,
tough
of course
crowd,
not,
you,
no.
you
Right.
got to do that in 5 seconds. You got to be on
Yeah.
your feet
Yeah.
all the time. You can't
Absolutely.
make
I'm into
excuses.
goofy porn.
You
You
set them
know.
up to be like, wait a minute. I only had a little time. And then they'll be like,
Right.
where'd you get trained? In fucking the back of Governor's? Yeah.
Nice.
Microphone again.
So, all right. So before we know, I'm going to give it 1 second. I just want to talk to these to the judges real quick.
Okay.
So this was I'm thankful for. Obviously, Thanksgiving is coming up this Thursday.
Yes.
So Nigel, tell us, what are you thankful for
What am I thankful for?
besides porn?
I mean, that would be the easy point. Like, what am I thankful for? I'm thankful for condoms and not having I have 9 nieces and nephews. And I'm glad I'm the only one that doesn't have kids. So I'm thankful for the fact that I don't have kids right now. Because if I did, it would be horrible around this time of year.
It's very tough.
Like this time of year is like Christmas is coming up, report cards are coming out. You ever you ever had like that instance where when you can't get certain things because of your report card?
Right.
So this time right here, I
this
always used to get bad report cards, and it would affect me when it was Christmas time.
But on the flip side, it affects the parent. Like me, my daughter made the honor roll, and now I have to.
So
get
what do you get your daughter?
Yeah. I don't
Ugg
know.
boots, Ugg
Whatever
boots,
she
Ugg
wants. She's
boots.
watching right now, so whatever she wants, I guess she gets.
How old is she?
She's 12.
Ugg boots.
Oh.
That's what all the girls want. Ugg
Still?
boots.
Ugg
Oh,
boots.
still Ugg boots?
I got a connection for Ugg boots to my other daughter. Works at a shoe store. So
There
I'm
you
gonna
go.
mix it
Nice.
all
All the
together.
girlies
So
like
you're gonna get her the
that.
famous footwear shoes.
Yes, Ugg boots. No, but in the kid scenario, like you said, if you do
Yeah.
bad on your report card, then you might end up with.
Yeah, I was doing horrible.
The parents love that. 'Cause like, oh, cha-ching,
They took away Christmas from me.
Did it ever work, though?
What?
Not giving you Christmas gifts? Did your grades improve? No.
No.
No, definitely
No,
not.
they didn't.
I love how real
They
Sue
never,
is.
they never did.
I literally got
I'm like, you
I'm
took
always
away
like-
Christmas.
Yeah,
I was just
like-
mad at them for like a good
Just
7
always
years
saying.
afterwards.
Yeah, they knew it wouldn't work. They just cheaped out on you.
They just didn't want to spend
Yeah,
money.
exactly.
They
That
had
was
just
their
bought a
excuse,
house,
yeah.
and that
They
was
got
the
shrimp.
excuse.
Like,
they got
we're gonna
extra
get
shrimp
you-
for Christmas Eve.
I literally got a lump of coal the size of my fist
Did
when I was
you?
a kid. Yeah,
You did?
in my stocking.
Wow.
My dad put it in there. Yeah.
I got a pile of shit.
It was cold. It was definitely cold.
I'm
Definitely
just trying
cold.
to top him.
Stocking.
I'm just trying to stop.
So, Sue, what's
That was good.
Oh, really? Well, my childhood was worse.
Sue, what's Thanksgiving like with your family, the Bostonites and Irish and all that kind of stuff? Is it a big thing like the Italians? You all get together?
No,
or is
it's small. We have a small family. I only have 3 cousins. I have 4, maybe 5 cousins altogether.
Do you gather around like in The Fighter, like in the movie The Fighter that you were in? Is that real? How real was those scenes? Remember when he came with the birthday cake and you all happy to see him, and then he?
Those scenes are totally real. And the funniest thing is when we were in Boston, they're like, we don't fucking look like that. And you're like, yeah, you do.
Fighter was a good
Yeah,
ass movie.
yeah.
All that shit.
Yeah, she was one of the in The Fighter, and she had all these great scenes with
With
Christian
Christian.
Bale.
He was a funny guy.
Was he funny?
Funny as shit. I walked into the makeup trailer and they were doing his makeup and he was so skinny and they had shaved his head back and I didn't even skip a beat. And this is Boston. Boston, we're quick. I said, hey, Kristen, you look good. You look like my brother Jimmy. He goes, that good for me or for your brother Jimmy?
Hey, he was right in the zone.
Oh my God. And then and he didn't break character with anybody except for me. He
Really?
wouldn't talk to the other people. No, he would talk to me because I don't know if he knew the funny. I think that's what it was. The funny came. And we were talking, we were telling him about the guy, Whispers, who we used to call him Whispers growing up because he was stabbed in the throat with a pitchfork.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And we were talking like it was nothing. And he's like, what are you guys talking about? Me and this guy, Polly. Polly's dead now. 2 of the guys are dead from that
my
movie
God.
that I was
Wow.
in the movie with. Yeah, I grew up hardcore.
And Whispers is gone, you said?
Whispers might, I don't know, he might have
He sounds like a survivor.
he might have died of
He's still
old
around.
age, but the other guys died
I love her
violent.
accent.
Violent.
I know.
Yeah.
Do our accents, our Long Island accents, sound as like how yours sounds to us? Like, do you sit there and go,
No, I don't
"God, they all
notice it."
sound like weird?
No, and I kept mine on purpose, and I keep it because it makes it fun. I mean, it's
I
like
love the
part
accent.
of my instrument for
yeah.
my comedy.
I
too.
used to
Simmer
love
down.
Lenny Clark.
Lenny Clark. Lenny
I used to
Clark.
love Lenny Clark.
No, I mean Boston has its own language. Sometimes I'll say something and people have no idea. Like I remember I was dating this guy when I first shot my first pilot in L.A. and the guy called me and I was like, I had just come from I literally when I shot my first pilot, I literally was teaching aerobics to old ladies. Like when they flew me to LA, I had no clothes to wear. The old ladies had to give me clothes to wear. Like that's how quick it happened. I had no money, and so I was still rough, so rough around the edges. And I was dating a guy in LA and he called me, and in New York, and I was like, I hope this pilot doesn't shit the bed. And all of a sudden there was like dead silence for like 5 minutes, and I was like, what's wrong? He's like, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. I had never even like thought about what I was saying. Never. We always said, I hope the car doesn't shit the bed. I hope it doesn't.
Yeah,
no.
that's a normal
No,
saying.
and he was completely horrified by it. I was like, I never. He's like, that's disgusting.
That's great.
Why did he have that visual?
Like,
Why was he visualizing?
Exactly.
Like, you don't visualize somebody pissing their pants.
But maybe because I was a girl.
Yeah,
and he wanted
I
to
do.
date
I don't know. I do.
me. Right? Maybe because I was a girl and he wanted to date me, and I was saying shit.
Guys are stupid.
Yeah, guys don't like when
Yeah.
girls have
we
potty
are.
mouths.
We definitely are.
Well.
Well, I hope I cook a good turkey, otherwise it's going to shit the bed. So, Sally, tell me about your Thanksgiving. What do you do? What are you thankful for? And what's your
You
plans?
didn't ask me what I was thankful for.
I
What are you thankful
will
for?
get back to you, Susie. I definitely want to know.
He caught me off guard with it. So.
I'm so glad he went with Nigel first.
Hey, I'm like, oh my God, Jesus.
Yeah, we're having about 12 people over. I'm gonna make a turkey. I make my dad's stuffing recipe the night before.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it's a fun day. We have 4 kids between us, and I'm thankful that they're just all happy and doing well and love each other, and everything's going really well.
Tell me about the stuffing recipe. Is it a secret recipe, a family recipe? Is it something you could tell us all now on TV?
There's I think the only thing that's probably like a little different from everyone. Well, maybe not, but it's it's just good breadcrumbs with apples all sliced up really
That's
thin, and onions sliced up really thin, and celery.
And sausage.
No sausage.
You don't put that
but
in
I
there.
do put like
Sausage.
the giblet stuff.
Do you put the Bell seasoning in there?
Nice.
Because a lot of people think that
I do some
the
seasoning,
Bell,
yeah.
the Bell seasoning is what really makes the secret to the good stuff.
Bell
And
seasoning.
I like fry it like the night before, and then in the morning I like
And
put
you
it
stuff it.
in.
You have to cook
and
it
then,
before.
Yeah, so it's really, and I don't know, I have, he passed a couple of years ago, and I have the directions every year that I pull it out, and it always says, like in the beginning, it's like, start out with 2 Bloody Marys. And I'm like, it just like makes me laugh that he bothered to write that in.
That's awesome that you have
I asked
that.
him for it like 25 years ago, and like
Yeah.
it came in the mail with that, and every time I like forget and I take it out, I'm like, ah ha ha.
That's awesome that he did that.
Yeah,
and that's
it was
awesome
nice.
that
It's
you
like the
have
way
that.
of, yeah, that's.
And that's what Thanksgiving's all about.
Drinking.
Our family and Bloody Mary.
drinking.
The recipe will be available on our website after the show. Susie, real quick, what are you thankful for?
Oh, now it's just like totally.
I really
I
am
have to say
curious.
something about like being a nun or something. I have to say about being holy or something now. What I'm grateful for.
Why is that what are you religious?
What am I grateful for? I'm grateful that I'm still myself. That I never abandon who I am. That's what I'm grateful for.
That's a great
No
answer, and
matter
that's
what
true
happens.
because
I am.
Sue, you've had a 30-year career. You've seen it all. You've been there. You've done that, and you always were able to stay who you are. And
Not
that's,
always.
That's huge.
Sometimes
there was a time you got to.
Sure, I used to like fight or do something that wasn't.
But you
who
never
I
got
really was.
Hollywood. You never got like a
No,
big head. And
But it was a struggle to hold on. I feel like I went through war. And I came out, and everybody ever says to me, they're like, Sue, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want out of your life? What do you want? And I'm like, I want to sit on my fucking bed and say, I told those motherfuckers I knew what I was doing.
That's right. That's
Susie
right.
Yes!
Yes.
Let's get the microphone over to the Benjamin.
Back to Gagoots.
Gagoots.
Ciao, Bella.
Whenever you're ready.
Round 2, premise pressure. Comedy can certainly throw a lot of curveballs, and sometimes you have to think quick on your feet. So round 2, premise pressure,
Premises.
we will see how fast these comedians are with a variety of comedy premises.
So you guys,
Each comedian will have 2 minutes to fire off punchlines with premises given to them from our judges.
Okay.
yes. So this is the premise pressure. Thank you, Gagoots. This is the premise pressure where we will throw out premises. Each judge will take turns throwing a premise at our contestant. They have 3 minutes on the clock. And their job is to quickly come up with a punchline for each premise. So this is very tough. This is probably, out of all the rounds of the game, this is probably the hardest one.
Oh, God.
Now, have you guys watched this on previous shows
Yeah.
and seen how the comics have done it?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts when you watched, like, the other guys do it in the past?
I'm fucked.
Are you a quick thinker?
Yeah, usually I feel like I'm better on my feet than I am a writer, but I guess we'll find out now.
All right, so we're going to start with you.
Freestyle.
Always undersell.
Yeah, you're a
Always
freestyle
undersell.
rapper.
Yeah, don't be impressed. Like, I'm totally not good on my feet at all. I fall all the time.
Always undersell.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go with the premise pressure, and it all starts now.
Dog poop.
You look like you stepped in it.
Go ahead, Sue.
Skinny people.
I hate skinny people. I feel like I can slide them underneath the door, like through the mail slot.
Midgets.
I'd love to throw those guys.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Who?
Go ahead, Sue.
Oh, racism.
I hate racists. I really do. I want to punch him in the throat. Give him a swirly like they used to back in high school.
Addicted to porn.
What are you guys going through my browser history? Seriously? Worst addiction I ever had was being addicted to porn.
The Hallmark Network.
I didn't even know Hallmark had a network. Jesus. Yeah, I guess they got bored of selling cards.
That's a good one. Why are rappers so pissed?
Why are rappers so pissed? That's a good question. Why are rappers so pissed? Because it's hard in these streets.
That's a good one.
Dr. Pimple Popper.
Oh, she's my favorite. There is nothing more relaxing than watching someone's 20-pound zit get squeezed out of the back of their head.
Yeah.
Awesomeness.
New Yorkers.
Oh, they're the worst. We are the worst people on the planet. We really are. And Long Islanders on top of that podium there.
Best friend's wife.
I'd fuck her.
There you go.
Cell phones.
Worst invention ever. You want to destroy society? Just give people cell phones that they can browse through anything. It just gives idiots a reason to have an opinion.
R. Kelly.
Ain't nobody pissing on me, that's for sure.
Oh, my God.
Hoarders.
Oh, hoarders are the worst. I once went to this lady's house, and she was moving, and from top to bottom, she had nothing but plastic bags. I don't know how she lived in there, and when we finally moved her out, there was mice everywhere. It's disgusting. Hoarders are terrible. Terrible people.
Nancy Pelosi.
She's not dead yet?
Oh, my God.
Vegans.
They're just the koalas of humans, that's all.
The koalas of humans.
Yeah, they stand there judging you, eating their leaves like a hipster.
Dog poop.
We did that one. Are we doing dog poop again?
Yeah, do it again. I'm the
Dog
fucking
poop
boss.
again.
Do it again. I'm the boss.
10 seconds.
It smells like someone stepped in dog poop.
And 3, 2,
Ex-wife.
1. Boom. Very good, Justin. That's a
thank you.
tough one. We learned a lot from Justin in that 3 minutes.
My best friend doesn't have a wife, by the way, just so we clarify. I don't want my wife thinking that it's one thing when it's not enough. I'm sure she's watching. Which best friend, huh? Which one?
So we have to give you a very low score so you can go home tonight.
Yeah. That was tough. We did learn a lot, though. You don't like skinny people. You'll throw midgets, and you give swirlies to I forget
Racists.
Racists gets the swirlies. So I think that was very good.
Racists get swirlies. Why? What is this, cop and a half?
You asked me to freestyle. That's what I did.
All right, so let's go with the judges. This time we'll start with you, Nigel. What do you give to Justin McDonald?
I will give him a 7.
Thanks.
He gets a 7. Wow.
Very a 7. 'Cause that I fucked my best friend's wife. I like that one. That one was hilarious.
Very good. Sue, what do you?
6.
A 6. And what do you say about Justin's quick reflex skills? You got a fan?
Terry Crevice.
How are you? You look beautiful. You look gorgeous. No, you look gorgeous. I love her. Come on
Hello.
in.
Hey, baby.
You look good, honey. We were in LA together.
Oh my
She
God,
goes,
we never laughed so
There's a
hard.
fire in the
I never laughed so hard. I lived with her for like a while, a week or something. And remember, we went to the party. We went to what's his name's party, Family Guy's party. We went to what's his name?
Seth
Family
MacFarlane.
I like
Yeah,
you
we
start
went
to get the Boston accent.
And Carrie
Oh my
put
God.
Put her boobs on and a tight
Mulholland
pants, and she'd be
Drive.
like, "Come on, Costello, we're going out." And Teddy Smith stayed with us. Oh my God,
wow.
there's so many stories.
Wow.
Awesome.
Seems
You
like
look
we missed a
gorgeous.
good
You
time.
did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we got to get you on the show one of these days.
Did you go on?
What? Yeah, it was such a great crowd. I had one guy stand up for me. He wants
Hey.
to bang me. I'm gonna have to go check it out.
Go
Hey,
check it out.
that's women
Yeah.
power right there.
There you go. That's right. That's the power of a woman behind a microphone, ladies and gentlemen.
Power to crush penises too.
Yes.
I believe she does.
Absolutely.
All right, so where are we with the scoring? Sue, you gave.
Sorry for interrupting you.
No,
Carol,
that's
but that was
fine. I
Carrie's
mean,
fault.
if we're here at
Yeah,
Governor's
no,
Comedy Club, and
listen,
comedians
yeah.
just jump in all the
Yeah.
time,
Okay, good.
and I think that was pretty awesome. That was Carrie. What's her last?
Carabas.
Carrie Carabas.
God,
was
did
here.
we laugh? We went to Seth MacFarlane's party. I mean, she was like, with the tits and the twit and the laugh. Oh, wait a minute. And then we were in Chicago, and we literally let somebody take our hair off of our face. We didn't even know them. I forgot to tell her that. It was like
What do
Valentine's
you mean take
Day.
hair off of your
You know
face?
how they
What do you even mean?
they do
They
Oh,
do
like
the
they
yeah,
wax
the
them?
No,
threading.
not
It's
wax.
threading.
No,
threading.
no, no,
threading.
like threading.
threading.
No, I'm sorry. They took the spider veins out of our face. we
Oh,
let
okay.
somebody
Oh, wow.
legitimately take the spider
I'm like,
veins
why
out.
do you have hair on your
Chicago?
face? that
Yeah.
needs to be taken
No.
off.
Woo! That's why.
Veins. Like we were doing a show in Chicago, and the guy's like, "Come on, I own a spa." Me and Carrie went and literally let him take.
Wow.
We're lucky we're not deformed.
Oh my God.
Hey, stranger, come look at my
I
face.
didn't even know I had spider veins.
So
We're the Spider Women. Come take our
I was
veins.
gonna say when I saw you, I was like, wow, she has no
No
spider
spider
veins
veins.
at all in her face. I can't believe it.
I didn't know you can have spider veins in
We
your face.
laughed.
yeah.
Lots of the female comics, like
Oh.
Jessica Kirson, Marina
Oh, wow.
Franklin. We have laughed our fucking ass.
Yeah.
We almost got kicked. We got the last comic standing when they fixed it. Me, Marina, and Jessica
Oh,
were on it.
oh, you're on that season.
And Brett Butler freaked out,
Yeah.
and like me, Jessica, and we were laughing so hard on the plane that the flight attendant came up and she's like, "What do you think, you're a fucking comedian?" And then we were laughing even harder. She was going to kick us off. And then one of the ladies had to tell her, she's like, "No, they really are comedians."
That's funny.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
That is awesome. So you gave the score. Did you give your critique for Justin?
I don't know if he tried that hard.
Like
No,
even he
it's
knows
the
it.
truth.
He's just like, yeah.
I'm the
Wait,
truth.
I can't win here. I just can't win.
Hey, I gave you a 7.
Thanks.
Yeah, he gave the highest score. I said 6. I could have
you got a
given you
6
4.
from Sue. So that's very
Ooh.
good.
Could have gave you a 4.
And Sally, what do you have to say about Justin's
Yeah, I
premise
gave him
pressure?
an 8. I thought I
wow.
think it's like the
Much
most
more
difficult thing to do, just to be like handed a word, and like I would say half the time I would just not even know what to say. So I thought the best friend joke was great, and I think out of all the things that you have to do here tonight, I think that's probably your more difficult. So I thought you did fine. You didn't look nervous while you were doing it. I
Thank
thought
you.
it was great.
Yeah, you look.
Sally's
You look.
very kind.
Yeah. Sally is the Paula Abdul of this group.
Not just because we're
Am I still
both
Randy
dwarfs.
Well, you're the Simon and Sue's
I'm Simon and Randy.
Yeah.
Who am I?
You'd be the Randy, because he's the Simon.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. I
What's
think
up, dog?
Yeah.
You have so many
So we got
awkward
the
pauses
scores
with
in
me.
for that. Well, I'm just trying to transition into the next thing. We're trying to figure it out. So the next thing now that we got all the scores in and premise pressure is done, it is time for the Gagoots. You guys are aware?
Oh.
of
Hey, I didn't go yet. You let me off the hook too. You let me off the.
premise
Am I not here?
Kristen.
I was about to say, she gets a 0?
No, Kristen.
They're the same jokes.
You read? It was
Same
different.
premises?
No, you can mix them up, come up with
She
some
already
premises.
heard them all. She's
You
getting
read them all-
such an
all of them?
advantage.
Yeah,
This
we
is
pretty much
crazy,
went
yeah.
through them all.
Yeah, we went through all of them.
Well, we could make up some new
Except
ones.
for narcissism.
Yes, so
Oh,
that will
God,
be your 1st
don't
one.
give me
Okay.
narcissism.
Let's put her
First
on the
one.
clock.
Okay.
All right.
Here we
This
go,
one we
ladies and
didn't go
gentlemen.
over.
I'll say it with my Boston.
Kristen
All right.
Tinsley, and it all starts now. Premise pressure, go.
Narcissism.
Narcissism. How do you spell that? If you can spell narcissism, I'll tell you what it means.
NAHHHHCISSISM.
Narcissism. Blow their brains out. That's it. That's all you got to do. Just end it right there.
All right. Fat people.
Fat people. Listen, let me tell you something about fat people, all right? Fat people make the world a better place. Just lean up against one of them. You'll figure it out real quick. We make the world a better place. We make it more comfortable.
Nice.
The Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns. Browns, hey! What up, Browns? Hey! Yeah, Cleveland Browns, man. Who's ever heard of the Cleveland Browns? There's no such thing as the Cleveland Browns, man. There's nothing brown in Cleveland.
Oh, my turn. Addicted to porn.
Addicted to porn. I could say something right now, but I'd lose a friendship if I said something about being addicted to porn. Because I know...
You know someone who is legit addicted?
Who's married to someone that's addicted to porn. If you're addicted to porn, man, I got the pill for you. You know what the pill's called? I don't know.
Fat bumper.
Fat bumper, that's right. I got it. That's why they're
Dick
addicted to
bumper.
porn. You got the dick bumper.
You're
That's
going to do a
right. The dick
callback.
bumper.
Callback to make it right.
Sorry,
Jesus
addicted to
Christ.
porn.
Sorry.
I don't
trying
know
to help.
what to say. If you're addicted to porn, I don't see the problem. I don't see a problem with that.
Gas station.
Gas station? Fast station. That's
I'm
what
just finding
that's what they
words.
sell. They sell fast food at a gas station now. Did you know that? You can fill up gas in your tank and your metabolism, and both will still fuck you because the prices of gas and fast food are still really bad, still really high. So, yeah.
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly, I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind at any age. Yeah.
Young people.
Young people? I'm a bus driver, so I can't say anything. But young people, listen up. You got a lot of life to live. You got a lot of stories to tell. So sit down and shut up and listen to what the old people have to say. Because the younger you are, the stupider you are.
We got 30 seconds
Young
left on the
people.
clock.
30 seconds left. That's all I ever get in life.
Grandparents.
Grandparents, I don't know. They're all dead. They're all
George
dead.
Bush would love this. Tourism.
Tourism.
Terrorism.
Terrorism.
Terrorism?
Terrorism.
Shoot them up, brother. Shoot them all up.
Shoot 'em up, brother.
Shoot them up, brother. Shoot them up. Terrorists, shoot them all down. Who cares?
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I wanted the
and
dog
that
shit
is
one.
done.
'Cause I'm a
Very
dog
good,
lover.
very good.
And Justin got it
Kristen
twice.
Tinsley. All right, Chris, tell me how you feel now after the premise pressure.
That was a little hard because those words, like I wouldn't think like narcissism, like because I'm such a constructionist in my brain, like I would have to like really think about to tell a story about a narcissist. Like I would have to.
Well, I can definitely feel you looking for punchlines
Right.
in everything and looking for a twist and a comedic approach.
Right.
So I
it was a little, yeah.
yeah. So I think that was
a little
very
tough.
good that you were able to think that fast and kind of find these punchlines within. Sue, what do you think? What do you
6.
give her a 6?
I think this is a hard thing to do. I think 6 is good middle ground to.
Yep.
Thank
But
you.
there was a callback for the dick bumper there that I wish. Or when she said fat people, if you just said dick
Yeah.
bumper, or whatever.
Yeah, it would have
Yeah.
been.
I was
yeah, it
waiting
would've
for
been
that.
funny.
I was
You were
waiting for
yelling
it.
fat bumper and
I'm
throwing
sorry, I
away
said the
off.
wrong thing. But she wasn't thinking it though.
I know.
I wasn't thinking it,
It's
but yeah,
harder
I
when
could
you're
have just
doing
said,
it.
yeah, fat bumper. But
Yeah.
you're right. That's an opportunity. See, this is an education as well as an opportunity.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You learn it from
Especially
one of the
with
best.
something that quick like that, because she.
Right, because then it would have came back and it would have been, yeah,
And
gotcha.
then that would have got a huge laugh because it would be the callback, and it's like a gift to people too, because then it makes them think that they're smart and they go,
I see what
remember
she
when
did.
she said that?
She
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
You're right.
Sally, what do you say?
Yeah, I give you a 9. I thought.
Oh, Sally is really
Sally.
trying to be the best.
I thought you were on top of it. I thought you were on top of it. Yeah, and I thought you had a handful of really good things to come back with. So it was good.
Thank you.
Good job.
Stuff.
Thank
Good
you very
stuff.
much, Sally.
Yeah,
And Nigel.
I loved it. You came with jokes. You came with jokes. And I will give you a 7.
Thank you. Thank you, Nigel.
Who's keeping track of the scores?
We got Benny.
Cahoots.
Benny is keeping track of all the
Oh.
scoring, and he's on it. And
Is there any pizza in that box?
I was hoping there was.
The Gagoots is in the
It's
building,
like
ladies
a
and
7-hour
gentlemen.
podcast. I should have ate it. They picked me up at 2 in the afternoon.
I know.
The waiters will come by.
We did come get.
I'm
We
hungry.
went all the way to Astoria, Queens to get
You did.
Sue
I
Costello.
didn't know you were going all the way backwards to come get me. I really. Oh,
No,
that's what I'm
that's-
grateful for.
Yeah, well, you're one of my favorites, and I'm a big Sue Costello fan, and I want to see you succeed. I know that big things are happening your way, so Sue Costello.
It's about time.
And also, we all have to remember to go on Netflix and watch Roxanne.
Oh yeah, I'm in that movie.
Because Roxanne
Mahershala Ali,
Shante.
Nia Long.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I'm a stalker. I've seen it.
I'm in that. I'm in the Get Down on Netflix as well.
That's
You
right.
Oh, to get
Yeah.
down
Love
to
that
very
show.
good.
Yes,
and
I'm in
it got
part
canceled.
2. Yeah, they got canceled. As soon as I was shooting it, they canceled.
Well, because
Wow.
they probably had too much creative. That's
They
what I
did.
thought. Too
Yeah.
much
That's-
creative
that's
stuff.
what it
Too many
was.
big egos and
That's
everything.
what it
because
was.
it was
Big
so-
egos ruin a lot of stuff in Hollywood. That's not going
And
to
I would have had
Yeah,
such a
yeah.
big reoccurring part, and I was so mad they
It
cut
was
it
such a
down.
good
Man.
show.
Oh my
And
god!
so when he, no, I was just thinking about that. This is how fast my brain.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm thinking
Yeah.
about that, and then I'm thinking about the Martin Scorsese show that got
The
with Bobby
Irishman.
Cannavale. No, that got canceled because of the same thing. Because this is how fast. So I went
Carnival?
from that Bobby Cannavale to the HBO show that got canceled for the same reason because it was Mick Jagger and Martin
Vinyl.
Oh,
Scorsese.
that- yeah, yeah,
Vinyl.
yeah, that
And
show,
the
Vinyl.
thought that came to me while you just said that about
Yeah.
Get Down was when he came out of when he went to the projects to go see because he had beat the guy and
Yeah.
he went to the projects and he walked out and the guy went and you saw him see the beginning of fucking hip hop when he fucking
Yeah,
scratched
yeah,
the record.
yeah.
I was waiting for that too.
Works, so
I was
he
waiting
went
for that
from
also.
Get Down to me seeing the same show got canceled for the same reason to remembering that's when the beginning of hip hop when he got out of the car and he just heard it for the first time. The zzz, zzz.
Yep. And
I thought it started with Blondie.
hip hop.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
No, I had a guy that
Nice.
used to tell me that all the time. Like Blondie started hip hop.
Blondie and put Fat
I
Five-
loved that
Well, she
MTV
did a rap
video.
in the middle of
Fat
one of her
Five
songs.
Freddy, everybody's fine.
Yeah, Fat
Flash,
Five Freddy.
Flash is cool. She was talking about Grandmaster Flash and Fat Five Freddy. Yeah.
So she kind of broke it to they say that she broke it to the mainstream.
But the Eddie Murphy movie was about the Reverend, the guy. the
Dolomite.
guy- yeah, the guy.
Oh,
who
Dolomite,
started the
Yeah,
whole thing,
which was some people do say that
He's
like,
the
started-
original rapper, yeah.
They say that. But other people say it started in 1973 with Cool
Sure.
Herc.
I think it started too with if you go way back, Pigmeat. The
Pigmeat
comedian.
Markham?
Yeah.
Here come the judge, here
Yeah,
come the
Here Come the
judge.
Judge is the first recorded rap song.
All I know is the only thing I ever learned in high school was every single word of Rapper's Delight. That's all.
There
I
you
learned.
go.
Yeah,
There you go.
Hip,
Sugar Hill.
Hop, hippie to the hip, the
I'm
hip, hip
supposed
hop.
to
You
meet
don't stop
Wonder
rocking
Mike
to
in
the
a
bang
couple
bang,
weeks.
bang bang.
Yeah.
We can remember that, but I couldn't remember that's what my teacher used to say. Oh, you can memorize all the lyrics to a Madonna song, but you can't memorize your times
Exactly.
tables. I'd be like,
Make the timetables more interesting.
exactly.
Maybe.
Why don't you try
Put
to
a
do
rhythm
that?
to it and maybe.
Oh, Bob Dylan.
They didn't do that back
Yeah.
then. They did
Bob
not do
Dylan
that
started
back
rap.
Hey,
then.
hello
Wise,
there.
wise.
Johnny's in the basement mixing up the medicine. I'm on the pavement thinking about the government. Man in the suit got a
Hold on, give him the mic.
Go for it.
Benny, do it.
Benny was
Benny can rap, everybody.
Yeah.
Do it, Benny.
Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was the first rapper. And I told my son and his friends that. And that's why they never wanted me to drive them home from school again.
Do it. Do what you were just doing. Do the
I'm
rap.
ready
He
to score.
interrupted its flow.
Do
Bob
that.
Dylan made the first rap song, Subterranean Homesick Blues. Johnny's in the basement mixing up the medicine. I'm on the pavement thinking about the government. Man in a suit with a trench coat. Got $11 bills, but you only got 10. Look at how kid gonna get hit. You're gonna do it again. You're gonna jump down the alleyway. Then in a new way. In a new way. Stick it up
That's
your
my favorite rap. No, 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 no.
Man, everybody go to hell. Let's get on with the show. Stop
Is
being a
everybody
foe.
ready for the Gagoots?
Oh my
Keep
God.
it, keep it.
The best part of that is that you did the Batman theme song in the middle of it. I was about to pick up the phone right now and talk to Commissioner Gordon.
All right, everybody, are we ready for the Gagoots? This is round 3. Squash the Gagoots.
One person gotta get out of here.
We got to switch.
One person.
One comes out, and then the other comes in,
Okay.
and then we'll
Kristen,
flip
you
flop.
come out
Okay.
because I love you. I love you so much.
All right, ready? When recording stand-up comedy, comedians should know how to handle hecklers and be able to roast a person at the drop of a dime. So this round, these comedians will have to face off and trade insults with the Gagoots for 3 minutes. This will test each comedian's roasting skills and comeback chops. All right, so the Gagoots is now coming into the building.
This is going to be amazing.
Gagoots. Gagoots.
Why do you do this to yourself?
The Gagoots is into the building.
Me?
No, him.
Oh, I was gonna say.
What do I do? What? I'm the Long Island's celebrity chef, Alfredo Gagoots.
Gagoots.
God.
I come
How you
here
feeling
and
today, Gagoots?
I'm feeling real good. I'm a very happy. I love Sue Costello. Sue. You were calling her Susie Q. I call her Sue Cubella. Oh, Sue, I love you.
Very nice.
There's nothing I love more about an Irish girl than an Irish girl who lives in the Queens. I'm loving you so much. And you're so thin. You got to eat something. Don't worry, you hungry? I take care of you later. I make you a nicer
I really
calzone.
am hungry.
And I'm really
I'm on the
gonna.
road for this show for like 7 hours.
I'm really gonna feed you.
She didn't realize she was
I
spending the whole
forgot to
day with
eat.
us.
We were under the
I
road.
had lunch, but then I probably should have ate something else before.
She agreed to do the show. She didn't know she was spending the whole day with me.
I saw over near your neighborhood. There's a Boston pizzeria.
I know,
What
there
is-
is,
They
yeah.
put a corned beef on a pizza?
No,
Since
I
when?
don't know why. It's so random, right? I know.
Yeah,
They made
yeah.
that
I don't
for
know.
me.
Irish pizza.
They brought
you
it
know,
for me.
She's gonna fix the mic because
There you go.
There we go.
I'm getting.
So we can see your face.
I'm getting a limp. That's the problem.
We
I'm
want to
getting
see
a limp
what we
over
want to
here.
see what you look like on camera, so all the
You know, Sue,
Facebook people can see you.
I like to go. I tell my wife I'm gonna go for Irish takeout. She says, "Why can't you say beer distributor like everybody else?"
Oh, hear that? You hear that?
Irish takeout.
The Irish jokes.
Oh, that's
I'm a-
racist.
Sue, I love you, Quibella. Sue, really, I mean, and I'm really gonna take care of you with food later. Give you a real meal. No kidding.
What? Do you have any pizza in that box? I'm serious. I'm fucking hungry.
In
Not
this
yet.
box,
We're gonna get some.
in
pizza.
this box,
joking,
I
I'm
got a
joking.
recipe for agita in this box.
Justin, Justin, how are you feeling, man?
bet.
You nervous?
I wrote a couple things. I don't know if I'm going to use. We'll see. You know
Am I
how
allowed
this
to
goes.
pee?
Do you go? Do you do
I have
this
to
a
eat
lot?
and pee. I'm human. I mean, excuse
Oh,
me.
yeah,
You gotta go.
Am I
I
allowed
got
to go to the
recipes
bathroom?
here.
Yeah,
If you
come
want-
on.
yeah.
Okay. Excuse me, everybody.
Oh, the judges are
like-
leaving.
We got to wait
It's
for the
like
judge,
torture.
Yeah,
right?
we gotta wait for the
Like,
judge to come back. But
torture you to
yeah,
be on the show.
Sue's been with us since about 5:30 or so in the car, and so now we're taking a quick little intermission. As we do that, Nigel,
Cool. Hey, what's up?
tell us about your role in Roxanne.
Well, I play a young gentleman named Biz Marquis, who helps out Roxanne at a difficult time when she has a show, then she has nobody to help her.
Did you get to actually meet the real Biz?
Yeah, I met him a couple times. The first time I met him was 2008, and he was weird. And the second time I got to meet him was at the movie premiere, and he was weird again.
Did he give you any advice of how to Did he say?
No, you know what's funny? I tried to talk to him when I was doing, when I was going to do the part. I wanted to talk to him. I wanted to figure out what he would like me to do. Because
Right.
I don't want to, when you're portraying somebody that's still alive, you don't want to make fun of them.
Right. Yeah.
So you want to make sure, and he's kind of a colorful person.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
a good
like,
use of word.
Yeah.
That's a good word to use, I guess.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm trying,
He
right?
can. He's allowed to say.
He's
it.
not the most handsome fellow.
No,
So,
no.
No. Yeah.
And, you know, I mean,
like I
He
had
did
to
a
get
song
prosthetic
called
teeth
Pickin'
in my
Boogers,
mouth.
Did
man.
they really? Give you
Yeah,
that?
they gave me prosthetic teeth. Like I had to talk with kind of a list.
And that's a starring role because Biz is a big part of Roxanne's story because he did the beatbox for her. He was also part of the Juice Crew, right?
Yes.
And all the stuff that they did in Queensbridge, all the battles Roxanne
Right.
he was there for it all.
He was there for it all. What happened was basically the director wanted to make a movie that was more centered on Roxanne Shante, and he wanted to make my part meaningful, but he wanted to make it a little bit minor because he's such a big polarizing character.
And I know a lot of people watching. When I watched the movie, my one thing was I wanted to see more rap. And
Yeah.
it was more Roxanne's life with her mother, the dynamics,
Right,
and
that's
all.
what he wanted to do.
Right, but
yeah,
I
like
wanted to see more of
yeah, because
your
you're a pure
Biz.
hip hop fan.
Yeah,
and
right,
that's
yeah.
what I was looking for. Also, like I was looking for the KRS-One and like the Juice Crew.
Yeah,
rap.
that
I
whole
was
thing,
waiting for
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I mean, again, he wanted to do more of a story. He wanted to give the story. Yes, a lot of biopics have performances, but again, Roxanne Shantae's career isn't what everybody knows.
Right.
So
right.
he wanted to give more feeling to what her career was, what her purpose was in hip hop, and just to give people a good biopic.
And one thing about Biz Marquis that I will say is that he was great at battle rap and roasting people. That's how he met, Big Daddy Kane and all that, with his funny kind of comebacks. And do you think that Biz would have been good at handling hecklers?
I thought Biz did comedy. At one point, Biz was on in Living Color.
Was he really?
Yeah, the last season of In Living Color, he was on there.
Wow.
So
I didn't know that either.
a lot of people,
I didn't know that.
of people like know that he is funny. Like he does tell jokes. He tries to tell jokes.
Right,
but it's more like your mama jokes.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's what he's good
It's
at.
more
Yeah,
of
the
those,
comeback
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Well, now speaking of Biz Marquis and handling hecklers, let's get back to the challenge here. So
Okay, let's get back to the challenge.
So now we're getting back to the challenge. We got Susie Caduzzi is back and ready to take on, to listen in on the challenge. Sue, are you looking forward to this, to seeing these two guys go at it?
I can't even tell you. This is like the
She's waiting.
highlight of my entire career, I think. No, it is. This is fucking
love with this
riveting.
girl.
This
Oh my
is
God.
fucking riveting. This is like.
When she got to go to the bathroom, I didn't think she was coming back.
I actually thought that maybe she'd get confused and just go eat also. So I was like a little worried.
No, I was like, how did everything get so awry? I was thinking, okay, so I came, the trains were horrific. I was in the city, and I was like, I was coming home before I met you, and then and then it was like 4:10 when I got home, and I was like, I had to get ready. I was in my sweatpants or something, and I'm like, well, I already ate my lunch. I'm like, I don't need to eat anything right now. I got to get ready. And then you were calling me like 700 times, and so I didn't. and now I'm like, and that's what happened. Everything got.
We're here, but we're all here right now.
I'm riveted. I'm fucking
And this
fascinated.
is amazing. We're gonna set 3 minutes on the clock.
Let's do it.
3 minutes on the clock,
This is making history.
and it all begins now. Roast it.
Justin does a freestyle hip hop because nobody's gonna pay for that shit.
Boom! Cha!
Good Gooch, you look like Sloth in the Goonies before Mama Fratelli dropped him on his head.
Okay.
Justin, calling you an idiot would be an insult to all stupid people.
Gagoots is so old he used to ride a three-legged horse to school uphill both ways.
Oh, and let me tell you, I'd have slap you, but that would be animal abuse.
Okay. Gagoots looks like a knockoff version of Chef Boyardee. Chef, nah, I'm good.
Oh, yeah? The last time I saw something like you, I flushed it down the toilet.
Gagoots is younger than my dad, but looks older than my grandfather, and he's dead.
If ugly was a crime, you'd get a life sentence.
My nickname is Struggle, but I'm going to pass it off to you since I watched the last 3 episodes and you struggle to be funny.
Oh, that's an unice.
That's a shot.
That's an unice. I'm going to have to make a phone call now. Why don't you slip into something more comfortable, like a coma?
Gagoots, I'm Irish, and even I know that Italian accent is shit.
Hey, I got this accent from my mama. My mama came from Sicily, and she was learning the language. I'm the only person in my neighborhood who could speak a fluent broken English. Why don't you shock me, Justin, and say something intelligent?
Oh, okay. Obviously, Gagoots is Italian, so I'm going to offend you with this. Pasta's for poor people. Stop putting tomatoes on it and herbs and calling it a delicacy and charging $22. I can name 10 things to do with potatoes that are better than pasta.
Oh, 10 things to do with potatoes. Yeah, like stick them up your ears.
You're always gonna love us sticking up your ass.
Oh, my God.
That's always the way.
You're the reason the Gina pool needs a lifeguard.
That's good. That's good.
Oh my God.
Gagoots actually means something. If you're Staten Island, it means crazy in the head. But if you're a mature Italian gentleman, which is not you clearly, it refers to a long hanging squash. Ladies and gentlemen, I've seen this man's crotch. He's from Staten Island.
Oh, that's a good. Even I gotta say that's a good one. Justin, you're
Yeah.
like a Monday morning. Nobody likes you.
Oh, Jesus!
God.
Look at that hat.
Podcast is a lot of work.
Hey, you telling me? I gotta write.
Right stuff, you
I gotta write the jokes. I gotta steal the insults. I gotta put a lien on somebody to give me the insult.
One more each. One more each.
I don't know if Gagoots is conservative or Democrat, but I'll tell you what I do know. He looks like he's stuff with preservatives.
Justin, as an outsider, what do you think of the human race?
Oh, and that is time, everybody.
Oh my God.
That was one of the best give and takes we've seen in
Oh,
our
my
show
goodness.
history. So kudos to you, Justin, for
Oh, thank
holding
you.
your own
Thank
against
you.
the Gagoots. Gagoots, what do you think so far of Justin and his battle skills?
I tell you what, Justin impressed me. I thought he was just going to be some sham, some guy living in a refrigerator box behind the place, telling everybody I'm a bigger comedian. But he's doing pretty good. I like him. He's a nicer guy.
Don't give up
He's
my
a
lead.
nicer guy.
Thank you.
I give
That
you
was
a
awesome. That was
meatball
awesome,
hero half a price tomorrow.
Thank you.
Ah,
I
very
appreciate
nice.
that.
Very nice. A meatball hero for half price. I'm going to go as well. Nigel, what do you think? What you score?
Oh my. What am I supposed to think? Gagoots won.
Yeah, oh yeah, clearly. I mean, clearly, he had me laughing at his jokes. He clearly won.
But what do you-
like-
what
I've
do you
watched
score,
the show.
Justin?
I know what goes
score?
on here.
I'll give you a 6, I guess.
But thanks.
Justin gets
Sorry.
a 6.
I'm gonna give him an 8 because if Gagoots didn't have anybody to shit on, he wouldn't be funny. So I'm gonna give him an 8.
That's true.
Thank you.
An 8.
Thank you.
Wow, very
That's true.
good. Very good.
Good.
Sally, what do you got?
I'll give you a 7. I thought you held your own pretty well, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's difficult.
I mean, it's hard.
Listen.
Because he's hitting you with those like simple things.
Yes, I
and
know.
You were
I
trying
watched
to go
the show.
Real complex.
I watched the
Oh
show.
my
and
God.
I tried to keep up with what he does. So that's why I was like, let me just go with this.
Because I know how
I knew what I was dealing with. I knew what I was dealing
I
with.
might have to set that up.
I knew what I was dealing with. I
my
definitely
God.
didn't expect to come in and win. If that's what you were
Hey, there,
asking.
I got to cook a book. You got to know book. You got to make it from scratch.
He told you he was a Long Island celebrity. He's been on every pizza box from here to
Yeah.
Ronkonkoma.
Well, now we got to switch it up.
That's true.
We got to switch
Okay,
places.
now-
Step out.
While we
Wait,
switch
Kristen's
places,
going to come back.
we're going because now it's going to be Kristen's turn to go up against the
Oh,
Gagoots.
good.
Yes.
Sue, have you
Can't
ever
wait.
had an insult battle like that before?
Have I ever?
yeah.
No, I don't do that.
Even with like hanging out with all those tough crowd guys, that,
Oh, yeah, I
like
did it
they
on Tough Crowd.
well, they insult each other all the time. Right? That's kind of the thing that the city comics do. How do you to sit at the table? That's where the whole tough crowd started from, right? Colin Quinn and all those guys sitting at the table. Tell me about your years having to do that stuff.
Having to do Tough Crowd?
Yeah,
Well,
like-
again, being a woman.
All those big personalities.
But the interesting thing about Tough Crowd, which people didn't realize, is that the men all had a regular spot. They were first of all there were always 3 men, 4 men, including Colin, and 1 woman. And the men had a regular job. They were all regulars there, so they had not only the security of the money, but they had the security of the camaraderie. They built all this camaraderie with each other. And with the women, they would circle us in every once in a while. So people don't understand what they're like. Oh, women aren't fine. Women is like, they don't understand what we have to. We had to be strong enough to go in there and have no. We didn't have a regular job. We didn't have. There were 4 of them and one of us. And so anybody you saw on that show who was a woman who got circled didn't like that.
and it's hard to get
That's
your
amazing.
yeah,
That's
on
really
tough crowd.
cool, right?
Sometimes it's hard to get your words in edgewise.
So that's how strong we had to be. We had
Yeah.
to be able to never know when we were going to get there. Those guys were there all day, every day with each
They
other
were.
hanging
I didn't
out.
think about it.
Yes,
until you said
nobody
that.
does.
Yeah. And is it kind of like a boys' club back then?
It's always been a boys'
Yeah.
club. That's how. But it's funny because now after 30 years, they've trained me. I've been around. I was on Artie's podcast. I was on Jay Thomas. I was on Tough Crowd. I've been around all the men and I've been around gangs of men with just me by myself. And now the reason why they're all terrified of me is they're like, why isn't Sue flinch?
Right.
Even when I was on the fighter, David O. Russell came out but Christian was shooting the scene where all I had to do was pass the crack pipe to him and walk away. And Christian, he would say the line, and then I would walk, and I was like literally behind the camera, and I was like I couldn't do anything until he said his word, and then I would just go over, give him the thing, and walk away. And at one point, he added a few extra lines. So as I was walking, I was like, I'm not going to fuck up the shot, so I'm just going to hang out as a crack addict. And it went naturally. I just hung out a little bit, and then he put his hand out, and David must have got nervous that Christian was. Now this is right after the Lily Tomlin thing, and Christian, both of them on YouTube.
Oh, yeah,
freaking
the
out.
whole big
I'm working
blowout.
with these
Yeah,
2 guys,
yeah.
me
Oh,
by
wow.
myself,
Yeah.
by myself, in
Yeah.
a fucking crack
Right.
house that's like 90 degrees, sweating and the
Yeah.
pressure was so crazy. And so when he did, David came out in the back from the back, and he's like, Costello. Of course, and this is another thing that the guys don't realize. A guy won't fight with the other guy. Sometimes he'll dump it on the girl because he doesn't want to fight with the guy.
Right.
That happens a lot too.
Yeah.
So he was like, Costello, what are you fucking doing? What are you fucking doing?
Right.
And I didn't even flinch. And I went, I'm not doing anything. I go, he had an extra line. And he goes, and David didn't know what to do. And he looked and he looked and he looked and he goes, well, he doesn't want you bothering him. And I go, I'm not bothering him. And Christian goes, yeah, she's not bothering me. And David O'Russell laughed and ran in the back. And I was like, they don't know what to do with me because I don't have the reaction. I'm like, and I probably saved them millions of dollars without having to fight. Imagine if I reacted.
No, I think you always manage to do the right thing in those situations.
I was in the fight with Geraldo and Dennis Leary. I was on that episode.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Yes.
that was
remember that
great.
one.
That's
I
Yeah,
was
classic.
in the midst of
That's
all
right,
of
you
it.
were
And I'm
there.
like, I'm
You
sick of
were,
fucking
you're right.
Geraldo bodied him. Geraldo.
And I was being codependent, and I'm the one that
Yeah.
saved them from fighting. And I was
Oh,
like, I'm
wow.
so sick of saving these guys
Oh,
from
they would
fighting.
get-
I want my own. I want my time now.
Leary was going to get physical.
Oh, they were literally gonna fight. Like that's why I had to go.
Wow.
I watched
Oh,
myself,
wow.
and I'm like, he's
Yeah.
funny. You're funny. He's funny.
If
And
you
I was
never
like,
saw
oh my
that,
God.
everybody, a tough
It's
crowd, look it
terrifying.
up.
Oh, that was an amazing episode.
Yeah, it's Greg Giraldo versus
You're
Dennis
bringing me
Leary.
back now.
It's a classic. She was on that panel and broke the two of them up in a classic thing. So that's pretty
They
cool.
were gonna
That's
fist
pretty-
fight, and I
think-
was scared for my own life. I did it for myself, which I probably should have not done that. I threw myself in the middle.
Yeah, but he was getting
When he
Oh,
was
Greg
told
was out of
to
line. I
go.
think he was
No,
mean.
he fucking
He was
went
mean.
right at me.
Oh,
Dennis
man.
deserved
He went
every
for that.
fucking
He did. He
inch
did.
of it.
He was
I
too
don't
big.
care
He
what
was too
anybody
big.
says about Dennis Leary. He deserves every fucking word
He
of
was
it.
too big for his head. Was
He brought his own hair and makeup
yeah.
person
You
to
could.
Oh, my
the
God.
And Greg
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
And Greg had the
Spilling
cure
all
for
the tea
cancer.
now.
Hey, listen,
Greg
that's
had
what
the
we
cure for
do.
cancer that
Greg
night.
was so smart. Oh, I miss him, and I miss Patrice.
Oh,
I
my
miss
God.
Yeah.
You comedians are doozy bots.
Doozy Bots.
Are
what
you
is that?
ready? So Kristen.
I'm ready with the venom.
All right, we
Don't
are
be
going to
serious.
get to
Yeah.
the round here. We are
All
going to
right,
start
we're ready.
the insult battle in 3, 2, 1.
I gotta say, I love this girl, Kristen. I love her.
I love you too.
But the problem is, you and I were easy targets.
Of course.
That's the
Go
problem.
for it.
And
I've
you,
heard it all.
Kristen, you put the mama in a Mama Luke.
I put the mama in the Mama Luke. What's that supposed to mean?
Mama Luke, you know, it's a stunad.
Oh,
It's like,
all right.
So I said, so
He just
a
proved
Mama
his
Luke
point.
is a
Yeah,
stunad.
right.
So you put the mama in the Mama Luke. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe I should say that a little slower for you.
Just a little bit slower. Can you
Okay.
can you spell Mama Luke for me? Maybe I'll be able to understand when you say that.
MOMMFUCK.
Oh, F-U-C-K. Fangul.
Bafangul.
Fangul. That's right.
Kristen, your emotional support dog committed suicide.
Well, if my emotional support animal committed suicide, you're the one that had to bury him.
Your guardian angel just sent her resume to Satan.
Okay. Well, your guardian angel drinks.
Oh, oh yeah?
Okay.
The movie In Search of Spock was filmed in your vagina.
How'd the camera get past the bumper?
That's a nice. Yeah.
That's a false statement, sir,
That's a
because you
nice-
can't get past the fat bumper. Not even Spock can get past that, okay? There'll be no teleporting into my vagina, okay?
No teleporting.
If it wasn't for body lice, you would have no friends at all.
And if it wasn't for body language, you wouldn't be married.
Whoa! No, my wife she's got my gagoots at home. Under lock and key. I'm not allowed to bring my gagoots no place. I no kid you not.
What was that movie? The mannequin? Is that your wife? The mannequin?
No, my wife.
mannequin on
My
the
wife
loose?
is the puppet master, and
And
I'm a little. I'm a
Geppetto,
little
Geppetto.
yeah.
It's nice you to join the movie, my friend. Geppetto, come out. Don't worry about it. Come out. Come out.
In the last apartment you rented, the cockroaches wanted you exterminated.
They wanted me exterminated because they wanted me to move in because they moved out of your place.
Oh,
Oh,
snap.
wow.
They wanted me to get a new place because they left you. That's why.
You are so bad at gardening that even your plastic flowers are wilted.
30 seconds.
My plastic flowers wilted because your wife's body was buried in my garden.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah, you got thrown out of the Long Island Cat Lady Club because you had too much pussy.
I never had too much pussy. Pussy.
Oh. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's the round.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Wow. I thought you were gonna have to relive your tough crowd and go break them
Break
up.
them up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was a lot of fun. I love it. I cook a nice meal for everybody. A nice. I got a turkey. I got
I'm
a turkey.
talking about food.
Oh, you don't want to know what I got in this turkey. I got
Oh,
him
fuck
fat.
yeah.
This round.
I made.
I'm gonna.
I made him friends. I made him friends with this turkey, and I got him
Same
fat
here,
because
we let him off a little
what the
easy.
Godfather says: keep
Why?
your friends close, but keep the animals you're going to eat even closer.
There you go. There you go. That's important.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Gagoots,
I
thank
love
you.
you.
We're
Oh,
gonna get the
every
scores now.
time.
Thank you,
Oh, my
Gagoots.
God.
Gagoots, everybody. Thank you. The insult genius.
He looks like the pizza man
Those
for
chairs
porn
need to be
commercials.
unlocked. Those chairs are locked. I don't know who did that, but.
What
How many
happened?
hours have we been here?
All right.
Lot.
It's almost
starving.
We're at the home stretch now. 20 minutes to go. Sally, let's start with you. What did you think about Kristen's roasting skills? As everyone's getting reseated back in their places.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult thing to do. I think it's like, Benny comes all prepared and stuff. And, that's kind of his humor. He's just really great at that. Like, no one can do this like Benny.
Right, yeah.
So it's really difficult to go one-on-one with Benny. And it's hard. So I'd probably say I'd give you a 6.
A 6
Yeah.
from Sally O'Neill.
Yeah.
Very good.
But it's hard. It's not an easy thing to do, to come up with like one-ups, And that's not your humor anyway. Like your humor is storytelling and bringing things around, and so it's just not. It's not like something that you probably even enjoy doing.
No.
So I thought, it was.
I feel terrible.
It was a,
Out of the
it
comfort
was a
zone.
good 6.
That's what we
yeah,
like to do.
definitely.
Okay, so a solid 6 from Sally. Sue, what do you
Same.
got? Same, a 6. And what do you have to critique her on?
I don't really want to critique her anymore. I think she's doing a great job.
Yeah, they're
Doing a
both
great
doing
job.
I think
great.
she's
Thank
doing
you.
a great job. This is a very difficult show to do.
It is.
Yeah, but
It
as a
is.
comic, you have to be
Yeah.
able to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you
one
have to
day
be,
we would like you to come on and try it out.
I'll fucking level all of you.
That's the attitude to have.
Nigel,
So I didn't know that he had those beforehand. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't-
he's gotten it
So, but
beforehand.
they don't have theirs beforehand. Okay, so
well,
theirs
they
is
don't
okay.
come prepared.
Jason,
And
I
plus,
ca-
like,
I
also, like,
came
Benny
prepared.
wakes up in the morning and thinks of them. Like, he just can't stop
All right,
himself.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
he's
I-
just great at it.
All right, so I would have to. I'm gonna go with a 7, and this is why I'm going with a 7, because she did it off the top of the head, and
Yeah.
Justin had his written.
Right, right.
So and she had a couple zingers that I did like, and Justin was good too. But I'm gonna have to give the edge to the person that didn't have it written down.
Very good. Very good scores all around. That is Squash the Gagoots, everybody. That was Squash the Gagoots. And the next round coming up is their actual stand-up comedy. They're going to do their best 3 minutes. And
Oh my goodness, we
yeah.
gotta go through this too.
This is not an easy game show.
Oh my
you didn't
god.
even have donuts or anything for us.
Oh yeah, yo.
Let's give it that. All right, round 3 is getting ready to begin, everybody. Round 4. My bad. Round 4.
Round 4, the best 3 minutes. This is the round that we've all been waiting for. This is where we get to see the best 3 minutes that each comedian has. This is the best of their stand-up sets. This will show us the skills that pay the bills.
Yes, the skills that pay the bills, ladies and gentlemen. We'll give this microphone right back to you, Nigel.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. All right, so we're going to start with you, Kristen.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Tinsley, who has invented a new phrase for us called the dick bumper.
The dick bumper, yeah.
And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, with 3 minutes on the clock, let's give it up. Am I right here? Kristen Tinsley.
So I had my friend come over to my house the other day, and she came. She says, I gotta come over. I gotta talk to you. I gotta talk to you, girl. So I said, well, you could just probably call me or text me. But she insisted on coming to my house because she said it was so important she had to tell me. So I said, what's so important you gotta tell me? She says, I'm medium. And she's about 500 pounds. And I looked at her and I said, "You have the fat bumper, like I have the fat bumper." I don't know what store you're shopping in, but you're a no medium. You're an extra large with a couple X's after that. She said, "No, girl, I can talk to dead people." So I said, "Well, I'm an opportunist." So I said, "All right, this will be great for me because I'm single. I've got the fat bumper. I can't get a date. So you are going to conjure me up a boyfriend." And I started looking through the newspaper at all of the obituaries, trying to find myself the hottest guy that I could possibly find that she could conjure up from the dead to go on a date with me. It's going to be the newest, latest thing out there. There's not going to be any more Plenty of Fish because that stinks. There's not going to be any more Our Time because those people are on their way out anyway. It's all going to be about the angel wing woman, my friend. She's going to be conjuring up people. I'm going to be in eternity for all of the rest of my time, and I'm going to be hornyasfuck.com. Anybody want a ghost for a date? It's getting a little cold in here. Anybody want a ghost for a date? Doesn't matter what you do to them. You can't kill them. You know? Who are they going to complain to if something goes wrong? God? God's going to be like, "Listen, I don't give a fuck. You don't like it? Go to hell." That's what's going to happen. Let me ask y'all people something. Have you all seen the documentary? Have you seen the documentary about Lorena Bobbitt? Has anyone seen it? No? It was a little short. But, you know,
Nice.
You've seen it. We all know who Lorena Bobbitt was. We all know what she did. We all know she got in her car after she cut off her husband's penis. And she didn't just throw it out the window like this. She threw it over like this. I feel like if you throw a penis out of the car after you cut it off overhand, you mean for it not to be found. But it was found. And the funniest thing was this. Back in the 90s, you were not allowed. Got any 90s people in here? Anyone was around the 90s? You were not allowed to say the word dick on the radio. I just said it. I'm on Gov's radio. I just said dick. Okay?
Many
You
times.
were not allowed to say it. You were not allowed to say it over the radio in the cop cars. They had to say dignity. Anyone else see a problem with 50 cop cars driving around looking for a man's dignity? If he's married, you ain't going to find it. But what I wanted to know is the man that did find the penis that was cut off, when he bent down to pick it up, was it still warm?
Very good. Yes. Kristen Tinsley.
I can hear her laughing.
Was it
She
still
loves
warm?
the
Ugh.
penis.
Still warm? Yeah, a little
I don't
bit.
want to think about that.
Oh.
Is it dignity or dignity? I don't know.
No
It was
dignity.
It was
I have to
dignity.
bag it up.
No diggity, no diggity.
No dignity. No.
Dictity and Schenectady.
All right, so let's the judges now score her stand up. We'll start with Nigel. Nigel,
Oh my God.
what
Why
do you think?
start with me?
I had to start the last
Do it,
time.
Nigel. Shut up
Yeah,
and just
right.
fucking
That was
do it.
not the best. Go for it.
All right. It had good points. What I think, and this is the best constructive criticism I could ever give you, is that a lot of being a comedian is words.
Right.
And what it is you want to say like the slickest thing that you can to get people's ears. What's happening is you're saying too many words.
Okay.
So you're giving like the story that you had, like it could easily be chopped down and be funnier. So I what I would suggest to you is to write it down and like write your whole story down and find out what you can move and cut and put in, because there is a funny story there.
Right.
But it's the delivery that was kind of off a little bit. So my critique is my score is 6.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Fair enough. Cut it down.
A 6.
Yeah.
You got a 6.
He got me a corn muffin.
Where did you get
The
that?
last thing in the world. That
How
I
do you wear a
Yeah, where
pizza
did you get
uniform?
that?
He wore a pizza uniform and gave you a muffin.
We got a
Still
muffin
warm?
delivered to Sue Costello.
You can have some.
Yep.
All right, so that was a very good critique, Nigel, and it was a 6 on the score, Benny. So just please go ahead and log that down. And since Sue is eating right now, we'll go to you,
I
Sally.
can talk. You want
No,
me?
I'm good. I'm good.
I can talk.
Okay, very good. Sue, what do you think?
My gut reaction is I want you to be more personal and more confident.
Okay.
I want to know why the Lorena Bobbitt story. If you just tell a story that has no attachment to it, then it's hard for everybody to connect.
Gotcha.
So we want to know why. When
Why
you
am I
started
telling
talking
it?
about, because it looks like you're just trying to say something to be funny. And I would like it to be more personal because I feel like that. And your rhythm, I know tighten it up, but I feel like that's going to be your rhythm. So you have to be careful not to tighten it, because that's what people will tell you. They'll tell you, get quick, do the punchline, and that might not be your rhythm. You might be a storyteller, but through the storytelling, you can add the descriptions that will add the little funny things in the storytelling, because they will do that to you. They will tell you and then you'll start writing set up punch, and you won't feel like yourself.
Right, I don't feel that way.
No, you're a natural storyteller, but the stories have to be personal and confident. So you're telling shameful and detached stories right now. If you tell personal and confident stories, and then add the funny into the stories, because I can tell your rhythm is very slow, and that's a very powerful thing to be able to control the audience by.
And I think her confidence is coming too. Like,
yes,
I feel like, because even with all like the weight loss stuff that's happening, I guarantee you toward the end of this, I swear to you, you will feel so confident on stage. Like even with me saying you have the power to crush penises, like. You would feel that way. Like, you would feel that way on stage.
The only problem is if you lose the dick bumper, you've lost a lot of your set. So.
No, I don't believe that.
No, I'm
She
just
can
kidding.
talk
I'm just
about
kidding.
what
I'm
she
just-
used to.
Use it as a past.
Yeah.
That's
Past,
like Artie. That's like Artie Lang. It's like Artie Lang's whole story is he's a fuck up. I'm like, he can't get sober because his whole story is he's not sober.
There's always going to be.
I always
Just
say
you standing on stage and being confident is going to inspire so many women,
It
and
will.
being funny and
It will.
not degrading yourself and not shaming yourself, and being
powerful
able
with it,
being
'cause it's funny.
powerful
Yeah.
and still talking. You can still talk about embarrassing stuff,
Of
but
course,
as long
yeah.
as it comes from a powerful place and you have control over you're a slow storyteller. That's what you do. So when people tell you say no, can you help me punch
don't
it up a
listen to
little?
me.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you
The
don't.
word said
I'm gonna help you
wordy.
punch it up though. We're gonna talk.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
punch it up.
Well,
I
what was your
appreciate
score?
that, 'cause-
My score is a 10.
Whoa!
Oh!
Thank you.
Wow, just put over the top. Sally, what do you say?
I gave you a 7, and I thought they gave you great advice. You know, just really, really good advice. Because I feel like being a story writer yourself, I think you take yourself out of it and you tell a story. But Sue's advice about making it really personal is exactly like the way to go. I think, it's really good advice by both of you, really, because I do think it needs to be a little tighter. I think you're like a little bit writer,
Yeah,
but you're
I don't want you to shorten it. What I want you to do is like there's certain words that you're using.
Pop it
You don't
a little
need
bit.
it. Like you don't have to keep saying fat bumper. If that's the funny thing that you're trying to push, like if that's what you're trying to push, like you want to you said it like 3 or 4 times in that story. You don't need that. You know, save it. Yeah, savor it. Let us want it. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Very good. So what was your score again, Sally?
7.
A 7. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Now we're moving on
Here comes struggle.
to Justin McDonald. Justin, are you ready to rock and roll?
I'm ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, all the way from Huntington Station. Justin McDonald.
Thank you. Justin McDonald. I know what you guys are thinking. That's the whitest name on the planet. But goddamn, is that a good-looking Puerto Rican over there. My wife thought the same thing. She's from Mexico. She had never dated a white boy before in her life. So for the first 3 months we started dating, she just assumed I was Puerto Rican. I assumed not to tell her any differently because shit, I was getting laid and I didn't want to ruin that. You would have thought the shamrocks tattooed around the wrist would have been like a dead giveaway that I'm probably not Puerto Rican. No, she just thought I was a lucky Puerto Rican. I knew it was love from the beginning because she was a big basketball fan and she was a big New York Knicks fan, and I am as well. And I was like, the best thing about this is she's used to disappointment, and never in this lifetime will she expect a ring.
I get it.
We had a baby recently, and you know, she found out a few more. We've been trying for a few years, and I just figured I smoked so much weed that my sperm wasn't working anymore, and we were just having loads of sex. So I'm like, whatever. She found out a couple months earlier, and she waits till we're on vacation at my happy place, and she comes running out of the bathroom with the piss stick. She's waving it everywhere, getting pee on the counter, pee on the dishes, on my face. Had no idea I didn't like golden showers. She's like, oh my God, honey, look, we're pregnant. I'm like, oh my God, that's great. And she's like, you're not excited? I said, yeah, now that I'm never going to retire. I mean, we already have one. I don't know if I like him. Why the hell did we try again? Had I would have known that 6 months later, a red-haired, blue-eyed baby would have came out, I would have started looking for the father then. My wife's Mexican. I look Puerto Rican. Nobody knows really what I am. I figured it might have been the mailman, but it can't be her because she's black. Me and my wife been married for 8 years now, and she's starting to get a little bored in the bedroom. So she wanted to spice it up a little bit. And I'm like, oh, what are we going to do? You can bring a girl in the bedroom? She said, no, you're a simpleton. Let's start slow. Just start by talking dirty to me. So I'm like, all right, we're getting in there. We're doing our thing. And I'm like, I'm a comedian. I was a hip-hop artist for 25 years. I'm going to freestyle this. So we go in there, and all the blood from this head starts going to the other head, and I blank out. And the only thing that I could think of is, call me a cowboy because I'm going to ride this bull. The look of disgust in her eyes made me panic, and I reverted back to childhood and the only book I ever read. And I said, call me Ahab because I'm a harpoon this whale. She said, get your dick out of me and get the hell out of my house. She eventually let me back, and 3 weeks later, I was like, she wanted to try again. So I prepared this time, and I'm like, manicure, pedicure, citizenship. All right, guys, thanks.
Yes, very good. Justin McDonald, everybody. Justin, that was good stuff, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, judges, let's give the score today. Right now, we will start with you, Sally, and work our way over.
Oh yeah, I thought it was really good. I gave you a 9.
Wow.
I
Thank
thought you
you.
were like on top of it. Yeah. That was sharp.
Very good.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Sue?
I give you an 8.
Thank you.
Because as you were talking, I feel the same thing. I feel like, do you know how many men would totally identify if you really got slower and really opened up more about what's that like? What's in the kid thing too? Because a lot of people have kids and they don't necessarily want them.
Yeah.
And if you could just, no, seriously,
No,
and if
no,
you could really touch into it and don't skip over. A lot of times as comics, especially new comics, we'll skip over it because we're afraid to be honest and truthful. 'Cause we're like,
I cut it down to try to push it into the 3 minutes. So when I do the full skit, I do talk a little. I do get into about my son. I talk about my son before the joke even comes up. So it's one of a lot of my joke is just about me and my family, my kids, my wife, myself. But I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And that's how people get sitcoms, when they can really talk about the struggles of what it's like to be like a man and what sexually you have to perform, and like all the guys in the audience will be like, that's how I feel. I'm like, I say the wrong thing, and I get horny, and I fuck up, and then my wife puts me in the doghouse for weeks, and I don't know what I'm doing. And if you can make them laugh at themselves and not feel so ashamed about it.
Tim Allen made a whole career on that.
Yeah.
That's true. Very true. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes. Reveal yourself, and people love it. You don't have to do it. And like this girl, I remember she was emceeing for me. She went up, she bombed. She came back, she's like, Sue, I can't go back up there. I said, yes, you can. I go up there. I'm like, you're there to make people laugh, not to get laughs. She went back up and made them laugh and fucking killed. Instead of, we get very self-centered and worried about ourselves and how we look, instead of realizing that what we're there to do is to give to people. Like, that's our job.
Yes.
And that's the people that people connect with the most, when you reveal yourself.
It's
Excellent.
supposed to
Thank
be
you.
vulnerable.
And what was your score again? I forget.
Let's go to 8.
An 8. Very good. All right,
Oh,
Nigel.
man. Here I go, Simon Cowell again. All right, here I come. Yeah, I believe phone sex with you is like having phone sex with Fran Drescher. It's like, oh, Mr. Sheffield, you're going to first base.
Thanks.
I liked it. I didn't care for the pee stick. That's kind of gross because you were waving it, and like I felt like I got a little pee on me.
Then it worked. That's what it's supposed to
I guess
do.
if you think so, but yeah, you don't want to be R. Kelly on stage. I will give you an 8, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Excellent
Thank you very much.
scores.
I'm
We're going
glad
to
a guy
tally
said
up
the
the
peas
scores.
and grossed him out.
Yeah.
Grossed out a guy, you better.
Yeah.
Right?
I get grossed out easily though.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So now we're getting ready to end the show. We're going to tally up the scores. But I before we do that, I think, Nigel, we got to do a little. You played Bismarck. You got to know how to beatbox.
Oh man.
Didn't you also play Biggie Smalls?
I did play Biggie.
Yeah,
You played
he
Big,
did. He
you
did
played
play, yeah.
Biggie and Biz?
Yeah, he
And
did.
I was part of the Zulu Nation.
Oh, snap. All right. So you're all over the history of hip hop. Yeah.
son, the Lavas one, representing BK to the fullest.
Oh, shit.
What about we're going back to Cali? Yeah, I'm up.
Going back to Cali.
If I gotta choose a coast, I gotta choose the east. I live out there, so don't go there.
Nice.
That's a pretty good impression, man. I gotta say.
I'm up.
I gotta say.
I'm up. Slut, just negative
Cali?
energy.
We're going to Cali?
So let's kick a little freestyle session while we have a
Nah,
little.
shut
no,
Let's
no,
struggle, dude.
No.
Justin, you are a rapper.
I can't rap.
That's true.
Got goods. All right. So if you guys are not going to rap,
I have a rap. I have a rap
All
that
right.
I do on stage.
let's do the. Let's
and you
do
guys
it.
maybe
You
can
wanna do
help
it
me.
a
Yes.
I want to make it even. Maybe you guys can help
wanna
me.
make it a
How about
cappella?
that?
Gotcha.
Sure.
Yeah. So I did this joke. So Dean Edwards, I used to. So they were always when I moved from
Yeah.
Boston, they would always say, "You're from Boston, you're a racist. When you're from Boston,
Right.
you're a racist. You're from Boston, you're a racist." And I would always just be like, "Sorry." I
Right.
never even said like,
Right.
"Stop talking to me like that." And then I got to New York, and I was like, "Wait a minute, it works both ways." Because when I remember Dean Edwards gave me a ride. We were at like the Laugh Factory, and we're going to the comic strip. He said, "Sue, do you want a ride?" And I said, "Yeah." And we're walking down the street. We walk by these black girls, and they're like, "Ah!
They didn't like that. They didn't like that.
And I was like, "What are they looking at?" And I'm like, "Why are they doing that?" And then I was like, "Oh, they think I'm fucking him just because I'm
Yeah.
walking down the street with him." I'm like, "That's
Oh my
flipped."
God.
I go,
Yeah,
"That's
that's
flipped,"
revert,
right?
yeah.
And then I was like, "I'm gonna make up my own rap about
Okay.
my own oppression."
Yes.
It's called "I Need a Ride, Bitch."
Yes.
Just because I'm walking down the street with the man who happens to be the color a little darker than tan doesn't mean I'm trying to kill off your race. I'm just trying to get myself to a different place. I need a ride, bitch.
Yeah.
Sue
Drop the
Costello.
mic after that.
Yeah. You don't need to add nothing.
I
Just drop the-
I got a new.
They are. They're so like. "Rah!" I'm like, why are they looking at me like that?
Oh, let's keep going.
I got a rap. I'm gonna freestyle a rap for you, Sue. Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
Uh-oh.
It goes, "Hello, Sue Costello. My favorite color is yellow, so I eat that yellow jello when I'm playing on my cello. Yeah, I said cello, 'cause I'm a cultured fellow. My favorite comedy team is Abbott and Costello. I'd ask if you're related, but you probably tell me, hell no.
Dude, are we on Sesame Street right now?
Oh, let me hear you do one better.
Frog here reporting to you
That was
live
great.
from Sesame Street. Why do they make so many
Poetry
songs
class
about
101.
rainbows?
If you're gonna dish, you gotta
Nah,
put up,
I can't-
or
listen, I
shut up,
can't
or
rap.
stand up. Put
Nah,
up, shut
I
up, or
can't
stand
rap.
up.
Nope, I'm not gonna do that.
Then you
I can't-
can't-
Cannot.
I had a rap when I worked at McDonald's. My name is Susie C, and I work at Mickey D's. If you need a Big Mac, you can come see me.
Yes, I cannot rap.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can't do
not.
it.
You want to jump in? You're a rapper.
Struggle could do it.
Come on, you got something, Justin.
Come on, say the N-word real quick so we can get
Nah,
out
I don't say that word. You got me confused with a different white rapper, my friend.
of here. He doesn't rap.
No. I'll do something from. All right. Strike down with an iron fist and twist the juice out of a melon. All for the sake of a rep and adrenaline. Light up your bulb like I'm Con Edison. If hip hop was Vietnam, I'd be an unrecognized veteran. Speaking my last will and testament, stomping through the project tenements. No flags, I'm independent. Any problems with me, send it. Henchmen who want to be hip hopper, trying to act all hard and be all prim and proper. I forgot the rest.
That was dope.
I gotta do
Yes.
mine faster. I gotta do just I'm walking down the street with the man who happens to be the color a little darker than tan.
No, to be-
Doesn't mean I'm trying to kill off your race. I'm just trying to get myself to a different place, motherfucker. I need a ride, bitch. I need a ride, bitch.
biggest-
That's all I have to do.
Biggest,
Battling here.
biggest things that was ever told when I was a rapper is always rap too fast.
Oh, you did?
People want to be able to, and especially me because I used to use like movie quotes and stuff like that. Did you really
They wanna
understand
hear
if
it?
you saw that
They wanna
movie?
hear the
And if
words.
you say it at 100 miles an hour, it kind of goes over people's
yeah,
heads.
yeah.
But I do think that I could go a little faster with mine, don't you think? Because
You could go a little fast. Yeah, I
like
mean,
that, right? Just because I'm walking
you wanna-
down the street with a man.
Yeah,
I-
you want to flow with it. You
I've
wanna-
never heard you rap before, but I know why I didn't recognize you because you didn't have that clown makeup on.
Oh, it's not part of ICP.
I see.
Oh, it's not part of ICP. Never.
Benny Rizzuti. Let's give the mic to Benny Rizzuti real
Benny
quick.
Rizzuti.
Benny Rizzuti will announce the
No,
scores.
he-
Are you guys ready? Kristen, are
Yeah,
you
I'm
ready?
ready, I'm
I do
ready.
not
Justin,
look like
are
Garth
you
Brooks.
ready?
Yes.
All right, folks, here we go. Benny, what is the
I've been
score?
keeping the score, and I ain't gonna lie. This is stand up, put up, shut up's first friggin' time.
I know.
How did that happen?
87. They both got 87.
87,
Oh my
87.
goodness.
Wow.
And I have it all
what do we have to do
documented.
now?
I'm really happy because you both were great.
No, no,
Well-
I can't just leave
Yeah,
it.
we
Why
got
say
rid of it
you
at a
don't
time.
leave it?
We got to do
If
the
you're
whole
not-
show
what?
over again.
Yeah,
Oh my
please.
God.
no.
Take 2 in the
Break
morning.
the tie.
Dance off.
If you
She'll win.
take Justin and beat out his stuffing, and I'll give you this chocolate muffin.
Aw.
There you go. There's rap.
Very nicely
Oh, yeah.
done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. You just put it down there, Benny. That's the show. for tonight. I want to thank both our contestants for coming down.
Yay.
And, of course, thank our judges. And it has been
Yay.
a great time.
You
Thank
guys
you.
are awesome. I appreciate it. Appreciate
Make
it.
sure to
I'm
follow
sorry for
us.
stealing your phone before, by the way.
Oh,
It was a
that's
complete accident. I swear to God.
Oh, that's fine. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Put Up, Shut Up, and Stand Up. And also, if you're interested in being on the show, email us at putupshutupandandup@gmail.com. Quickly, we'll just go through it. Do you have anything you want to plug, Sue?
Yeah, my Twitter's my Twitter's at Sue Costello. My Instagram is I am Sue Costello. My website is SueCostello.com. Keep an eye on me.
And
If I'm a-
hashtag
I am Sue Costello is the podcast. Yeah, they'll see that on the website.
Excellent.
And the play's up there. You can see everything up there.
Beautiful. Nigel?
Hey, you can follow me at Nigel Fullerton _ on Instagram and Twitter. My website is still under development right now, but if you can, watch me on Roxanne on Netflix and The Get Down.
Get down.
Sally?
Watch our Knock 'em Dead comedy radio show on
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday. And we have our Knock 'em Dead murder mystery shows at knockemdeadcomedy.com. You can check our public shows. Thanks.
And those are great shows. I urge everyone to go out there and catch their live murder mystery shows. It's a great experience.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Thanks.
You got it. You guys have anything you want to plug real quick?
December 13th, I will be at Coaster celebrating my 39th and a half birthday with a comedy show. November 29th, I'll also be at Coasters doing the opening comedy act for the Olivia London drag show.
Nice.
And you can catch me over at North Shore Television. Soon to be, I will have my own time slot for my show, The Freshly Evoked Bariatrics.
Excellent. And you, Justin?
I'm here in the Little Room on the 13th. You guys can see me every Sunday on my Facebook page at 2 Men and Half a Lady podcast that I do with Emily Santosis and Jan Brenner. Yeah. I don't know what you said, but yeah.
Love it. Love you, Emily.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I will be. What date is that with you? Over at the radio, the
Oh,
television
yes.
show. You gotta plug that.
December 8th, we will be at North Shore Television again, doing a fundraiser for North Shore Television over there with some of the greatest comics on Long Island, raising money for North Shore Television.
Why'd you book me then?
Because you are one of the great. We
Yeah.
tied,
Excellent.
brother. We don't even have to fight each
Everybody's
other.
No,
a
it's
winner
great.
here.
No.
And Put Up,
fight to
Shut
the
Up, and
death.
Stand Up. Also, be sure to check out govsradio.com all week long. There are tons of great shows. Also, come out to Governor's Comedy Club and catch live comedy. That's the only and best way to watch it. I'm Don Sill. On behalf of everyone here, I want to say thank you, good night.
You're welcome.
And
Thank you.
always be funny. Yes.